All good.
Alrighty. Alright. When you're ready, my friend.
Yeah, just so I don't have to drink much. Yeah, okay.
Sweet, sweet. Let's see which window will pop up. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Hope everyone's doing well. Hopefully, I'm not too loud on the mic. Please do let me know if I am. Let me just double check. Hopefully, it's a little bit better, everyone. Please do let me know. There we go. Hell yeah. I think we should be showing up live. Is it? Can everyone see us? Oh. Okay. Should be showing up fine. It's just being very strange. Hey everyone, can you see us? Hey, okay. Seems like it's a bit better now. But yes, thank you to another episode of Doublejump Radio. Let's get this show on the road, shall we?
Yeah.
G'day everyone and welcome to another episode of Doublejump Radio, the official podcast of Doublejump.co. I'm your host Abir and I'm joined once again by my co-host John. John, how are you, my friend?
I'm okay today. Watch Batman. Well,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
about to say finally, but it really did just come out. But and watched a few other things, played a few things. It's one of those weeks where I've actually done things I could talk about. So yeah, pretty good. How about you?
Yeah. No, it's been a fun week all around. We had a long weekend here in Melbourne, which was
All
good.
right.
So got the chance to do some stuff around the house, have a look at a venue like our reception coming up in a few months, and I got the chance to watch a couple of things this weekend. So we'll talk about that in our chit chat section later this episode. But it's been a little bit of a crazy week, I guess. We should talk about the main story from this past week, which was State of Play happened. John, you wrote something on the site, a breakdown of the entire event. Before we talk about it in the news, just in like 30 seconds, what did you think of the event itself?
It wasn't bad. Nothing like crazy. Very Square Enix heavy, and
Yep.
Japan heavy, which I think they announced ahead of time.
Yep.
And yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, I know it's it surprising amount. I don't know what it is, but Square Enix dominated both the Nintendo Direct a couple of weeks ago as well as this presentation. It's I wonder what's going on over there.
What was in the Nintendo one?
It was like
I've
all the re-releases of the classic JRPGs
Oh,
and things
yes.
like that. And I think it was at was it Triangle Strategy, like got its final trailer and things like that. The Chrono Cross, like a lot of stuff. And then
I think Live Alive was that
yes, there was one as
cult
well.
hit. Yeah, well, not hit, but the cult game being brought back. And yeah, so yeah, it's like they've been holding on to all these games for
Yep.
since pandemic maybe. I was like, oh, this is the right time to launch all of them.
Yeah, why not? 2022, the year of the JRPG. I think that's what everyone knows it as. But why don't we kick things off and take it to the news, John?
Yep.
Oop, is that playing? Please play. So we had a very positive piece of news to kick things off for once, and that was Screen Australia, which is I guess the federal government's official I guess like body for funding like games. I guess until now it was basically TV projects, film projects, and like I guess other digital experiments. And now video games are finally coming back to get some official funding in terms of grants. Now, late last year we reported on the government offering significant tax discounts to companies who overseas to set up shop here or have a predominantly Australian base development of their games. And this is kind of the second part of the story, in that this new announcement is more targeted to indie developers. So in a nutshell, the funding initiative is called Games: Expansion Pack, which I like. It's very appropriate. And essentially, what Screen Australia has committed to is, quote, funding to successful applicants in the form of a grant towards the financing of the game. The fund is aimed at games with development budgets below $500,000, and it'll run for this financial year, which ends on July 30, as well as the coming financial year, which starts on July 1st and goes till end of next June. And I guess the other parts of the detail is that for every application you submit, funding will not exceed $150,000, and it's limited to one per company for this current period, which I guess is for this financial year. And they can be on pretty much any platform, but the focus of the project is on new titles. So you can apply if you had like a licensed IP or something, but it's predominantly designed to promote new ideas, new original games from Australian developers, from like more the smaller scale of things. So there are a couple of caveats. So the following games are not eligible. So if you're a budding game designer, or if you're a small studio at home and you want some more information, here are games that are not going to be eligible. So games that aren't designed for the public, so game used for internal training, corporate events, things like that, or if it's only located to a couple of locations, like if you've got a couple of like VR experience hubs, if you're making a game specifically for them and not for the public, not eligible, sorry. Games that have got a lot of advertising or promotions within them, which I think is pretty fair. And then we've also got games that show gambling or feature gambling simulations, like poker games and things like that, not included. And also games that will have a difficulty in receiving classification in Australia. So if you're planning on your sequel to Manhunt, or you weren't happy with the lack of violence in the Batman, and you want to make your own video game version with blood everywhere, go for it.
Yeah. Or your own sequel to Disco Elysium, which is weirdly banned here for a bit.
Yeah.
I know, I was thinking of that recently.
Yeah. Oh, Google. Is Google freaking out? Let me just see what's going on in the Yeah, Google's being weird. Oh, one. Oh, I think it's fine now. Okay, I think it's fine now. Okay, can't tab away from it. Note to self. Um, people who want to apply for this current round for this financial year, you've got till 5 p.m. on Thursday, the 28th of April, to get your your applications in, and it's going to be, yeah, I'm super looking forward to this. I'm really happy to see the Screen Australia or like something actually get behind it in terms of dollars. What do you think about this news, John?
Yeah, it's like reading through it, it's like it's really exciting because like the first thing I thought was like it's really weird to suddenly have all this money being directed at games. Like just kind of it feels like out of the blue. Like it's been, we've talked about it before and it just feels so sudden. It's like Australia is suddenly trying to become a development hub, not just for games, like which is, it's like small, like starting small for now, but making games, making like movies, Marvel's making stuff here, like that will just be the start of like, I mean, we make plenty of like we film plenty of movies in Australia and just stuff like that, but it feels like there's a snowball rolling in terms
Yeah,
of our development of just kind of major international productions of any sort.
it's crazy because
And
like pretty
also
much
that,
every Marvel film, and even like I think even the Batman, like a lot of things like the visual effects are done here, or like maybe part of it was filmed here. It's crazy. Like I know Thor Ragnarok I think was filmed here in Queensland or something, and like a lot of visual effects are done out of New South Wales, and it's crazy. Like you just don't even hear about any of those projects.
yeah, and it's really cool that it's like the guidelines for the initiative are really exciting as well. It's like all those things you said for like things that make the games ineligible are
Mm.
really kind of nice to hear as well. It's like no gambling, which is kind of a surprise considering Australia, but like, just like only new properties rather than like, so it just doesn't feel so open to exploitation. Like maybe it's not enough money for corporations to really bother with too much,
Yeah,
but considering how expensive game dev it already is, but I don't
yeah.
know. Hopefully it really leads to exactly what they're aiming to get out of it, which is just like brand new games made by smaller devs actually coming out and succeeding.
Yeah,
So
which is what we want. Which is what we need. I think. I think there's a
mm,
lot. There are a lot of like we've definitely got a lot of talent. Like even a developer like House that made Untitled Goose Game isn't that big, and I think
yeah,
that was a very like surprise hit as well. But there was a student game a couple of years ago that won best student game at the Game Awards. I forget the name of it. Of course, when I need it, I don't remember it. Let's see. Levels. It was the developer was Level Squared. Sorry. The game is Level Squared. The developer was Glitch Crab Studios. So
okay,
that's who I'm thinking of. But yeah, no, it's kind of yeah, like I'm super excited. I really hope that this
mm,
breeds like a lot more interest in Australia because we have a lot of talent here, and it's a shame that like if someone like think of all the people coming out of uni now who like grew up playing Final Fantasy 7, Super Mario, like Mario Kart, like and be like, you know what, I would love to make my own game. I'd love to get into games. Like now they actually have a shot at doing something because their government actually bloody cares now.
yeah. I'd like to compare it to what like because it reminds me of how Canada has like a lot of
Mm.
noteworthy like there's all sorts of countries do, but it makes me think of Canada and how they have like pretty big initiatives. I kind of want to compare them and
Mm.
see how they fare compared to those because they had, Ubisoft really driving things forward. As I understand it, I think that's how what happened really.
Yeah, yeah,
And now I don't know. We don't really have a big developer really driving things forward outside of a handful of like moderately large mobile devs. I think primarily.
yeah. I mean, I guess we've got like studios like SMG Studio, Grease Monkey Games that recently was bought by a gaming company out of Hong Kong. Animoika, I think is the name of the company. Mighty Kingdom, it's like um, Fruit Ninja people. Half Brick. That's what I'm thinking of. Half Brick. Yeah, yeah. Even the folks behind Crossy Road. I'm terrible. I'm forgetting all these names. I
Yeah,
feel really bad.
I'm not doing much better.
Yeah. But it's really good. Like we do have a lot of talent here, and like I'm really hopeful to see like this move forward, and I wonder if it'd be great to have like something like Acme, like the Australian Centre of Moving Image in Melbourne, that has like a gaming exhibit, like actually showcase these games, or imagine PAX Australia actually dedicating a booth to like this project. Like that would be really great to see that kind of wider collaboration and awareness being raised. But you know what, we'll take this as a first step.
Yeah, probably overthinking it a bit for now.
Maybe. But yes, John, I guess if we're moving from indie games, small scale from Australia, and moving to more global, and we're talking about AAA games, why don't you take us through what Sony announced at its State of Play presentation last week?
Yes, so Sony had a new State of Play for this month. I feel like they've been having a bit more lately, but anyway, that's nothing. So I'll just run through each game that was announced. None of them, I don't think any of them are like gigantic hits. So they're all, like, all of them are more or less exciting depending on who you are, but yeah, nothing crazy. So first was Capcom announcing Exoprimal. So it's kind of like Anthem except dinosaurs and horde-based survival gameplay.
And
that's kind of it. It's quote an online team-based action game. The main game mode is Dino Survival, which is very appropriate. And quote, where 2 teams of 5 players compete in a variety of PvE and PvP missions. Gameplay will be focused around the kind of MMO trinity of assault, tank, and support sort of classes. Yeah, so I think that's kind of it. It's like a sci-fi thing. It reminded me so much of Anthem, even though I don't think it plays much like it at all.
No.
And just because of having like class-based mechs, which also isn't that uncommon, I guess. But I don't know. That's exactly what I thought of initially.
Oh, sorry. My thing turned on by accident. Yeah. It is like Dino Crisis meets Anthem meets Destiny in terms of a live game, but in 2022.
Yeah, it's it's not actually too much to say about it to me. There's something so blunt about it that is like a conversation runs out so quickly. Exoprimal is set to release on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox consoles, so Xbox One and Xbox X and Series X and S next year, which is actually one of the few games announced in this for next year.
Yeah.
Almost every game is announced for this year. After that was a new trailer for Ghostwire Tokyo, which is releasing on March 25 for PC and PS5. I don't think there's anything new in this trailer.
It's just like a final trailer.
Yeah, I think it's like technically the launch trailer for the game.
Yeah, like what, 10 days? That's not long at all.
Yeah. Previews just came out for that game as well. So if you want more information on it, it's out there. After that was a new trailer for Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, which is coming out this week. It's announced a new trailer, the 3rd demo for the game. So they've been kind of treating it a bit like, made by Team Ninja. They've been kind of treating it similar to their Neo games, where it's just kind of like, a string of demos just to kind of refine the gameplay. Reviews are already out. They're pretty harsh generally. So we'll see how it actually goes.
I had a question. You know how like the Neo games, they were offline games, right? Did they have an online element like the Souls game where the people leave messages and stuff?
I don't think I had messages in it. It did have like online co-op and that thing where you can like see people
like running around,
their ghosts before they die.
Yep.
And so instead of messages, like they kind of left bloodstains that just had like an AI fight of them. They can get
to show what happened. Okay. Oh, okay,
so you
that's
can, like,
pretty cool.
summon them and then fight them.
Yep.
Like it's not them,
but it's like the monster that killed, or like they fought. So does this have a similar?
It's like them though. It's like an AI version of themselves.
Oh,
the player.
Okay.
So you basically just like roam around having like kind of somewhat easy duels to get extra loot from them.
Why not?
Which I think was like kind of a neat idea, a neat take on the Souls thing.
Yeah. So does Stranger of Paradise have a similar online feature, or is it just single player demos?
I'm pretty sure it has co-op of some sort. I'm not sure if the demos do. They might. Otherwise, I don't think they have any of those other sort of online features at all.
Yep.
It's more of a direct action game. It's not very soulsy at all, really, in my eyes.
It's-
Like Neo wasn't all that soulsy either, except for the sake that it's like hard.
Yep.
And you die a lot, you know. But,
Fair enough. Yeah, just thought I'd clarify because it's like,
yeah,
I don't know why you need 3 demos for like a game like this.
true.
You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah, so just to wrap it up, if you play the 3rd demo, you'll be able to transfer your save data to the full game when it releases.
Which you couldn't
sometime,
before.
like later this week. Yeah, exactly. Like the other ones were like very much alphas and betas that weren't complete. Yeah, so Stranger of Paradise will launch on PS4, PS5, Xbox, consoles, and PC, or specifically the Epic Game Store.
Friday.
Yeah, in like a few days. Yeah.
Friday, not long.
Another sort of just trailer to remind you a game exists for Forspoken. It has something of a purpose because it was basically confirming the delay to October from its original date in May.
Yep.
Otherwise, I don't think there was much else in it. I think it was like mostly just bits of gameplay that didn't really seem all that new to me from what I remember seeing earlier. And,
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's kind of it really. So that's going to be launching on PC and PS5 in October. That's it. After that was Gundam Evolution. It's a new free-to-play 6 vs 6 team-based, objective-based FPS based on Mobile Suit Gundam.
Yeah.
Are you excited for this, Abir, or is it not really?
I'm gonna check it out because, like, it's coming west. So it's been in Japan on PC last year, and now it's coming to the West, right?
I think it was announced on for PC last year, but it hasn't been announced for anything else yet. So I don't think it's out anywhere yet.
Like from what it looks like it does look a bit silly because like it's like it's like third person, like
I know it is first person. It just has those like
the
Destiny
animations,
things where you like use a sword or something.
That's why I was like trying to like picture this, but like I'm really into this idea because it combines, you know, like shooting, which I love. It's like Valorant in terms of it's like Overwatch, Valorant, and Gundam together. Like it's a pretty cool idea, and like it pulls from a lot of different series, like in terms of the design. So it's pretty cool. I guess it's kind of like the crossover series that you know, the Gundam Warriors series, but like a shooter now, which I think is very, very unique because it's coming from Bandai Namco Online, which I think still is based in Japan. So, like, you don't really see many like 100% multiplayer games come out of Japan.
Yeah, it kind of feels like an arcade game, like out of Japan, like the kind of stuff they make for arcades. So I'm kind of wondering if that's
which we never get over here. So this is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It also kind of reminded me a lot of how many COD clones there were around like 210-ish, like or before that. How many like new like, you know, goes like this property is cool, COD's popular, like just mashing them together.
Yeah,
it's like it like that's what it reminds me of a lot. It's like, oh, this is a weird thing to exist.
So
that's
speaking of that, like, have you played a racing game called Blur?
Maybe. I don't really remember it anymore. I know that game.
Yeah, so I think it came out 2010, 2011. So I think it was the last game made by Bizarre Creations, which I think that was the games that made Project.
Like Sorry, like wasn't that kind of like a kart racer sort of thing?
Yes,
with, like,
yes. So
yeah.
So it's like so Bizarre Creations was behind the Project Gotham Racing series. It kind of got like folded, and then part of it became like the studio behind Drive Club, and then part of the people became Playground Games, which is now part of, you know, Microsoft, I guess, or Xbox, making the Forza Horizon series. So Blur was basically you take like Burnout-sized cars with like Mario Kart style courses with power-ups, but also those power-ups were kind of set up like perks in Call of Duty, because Call of Duty 4 was like the hot thing, and like pretty much everyone tried to copy Call of Duty in some way. So you had like loadouts and you had like perks you could unlock and everything like that. So it was it was that was like, I guess, one of the out of left field types of Call of Duty, kind of like trying to get take advantage of the Call of Duty trend that I remember.
Yeah. Now you mentioning that game, I'm pretty sure I played the demo for it a lot.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I can imagine.
Well.
That was when demos. Yeah. That's when demos were. I think that's probably the last time demos were relevant, until like Final Fantasy 15's demo, or the demo for, what is it? Nier Automata. I think that one was that was a very popular demo. So that was kind of cool. Anyway, sorry to digress, but it just reminded me of that what you said.
Yeah. So after Gundam was the announcement of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga collection. It's a very good name. So that it's a new collection for pretty much everything. It collects 13 kind of classic retro titles for the Mutant Ninja Turtles series. So these are games that were released on arcade, NES, Mega Drive or Genesis, and Game Boy games. They're all quite old, nothing all that recent.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them are versions of each other. So I'm pretty sure there's 3 versions of what was it called? Out of Time or what was it called? The Time Travel one. I don't remember.
Turtles in Time, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Or
yeah,
Turtles
I think
Across
there's 3
Time.
versions of that.
Yeah,
no, you got it right the first time actually. Yeah.
I remember playing the Sega Mega Drive game, because there was the one on Super Nintendo. There's the one on the Sega Mega Drive. They came out around the same time, but I don't think that they're the same game. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Manhattan Project. I think that's the NES one. Turtles in Time, that's the Super Nintendo one, I think. Yeah, because I remember being at my family friend's house and just always going over there and watching, and just being so fascinated by it. And for the longest time, because of the way the colors showed on the TV, I always thought Michelangelo was yellow, not the orange Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, because I think the only one I've played was the Game Boy one, because I think there's only one Game Boy game. Oh, maybe there's more. I don't know. Should have got loaded up the list of them.
Yeah.
But I definitely played one Game Boy game for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's the only one I have an experience with at all. So aside from the 13 games included, it will add quality of life features like save anytime, rewind, button mapping. There's even online play for 4 of them. And there's 11 regional releases, Japanese regional releases, which I think they did with Street Fighter as well. So that's kind of, I guess, becoming a trend. So it's set to launch this year as well.
Early this year, apparently. Right? Oh no, not early. Just sometime this year.
Yeah. No, release date for this, because a lot of these have. Anyway, so it's released for pretty much everything, I think, because I think it's released for Switch as well. It's not listed here, but so PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series consoles, and I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's on Switch as well.
I'm sure it would come to Switch, but
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how well the emulation is, because the thing with all these types of collections is that if the emulation is of poor quality, it's just never going to be right. It's not going to sound right. It's not going to play right. It may not even look right. So that's going to be the I think the main thing, because it's this is because there's so many it's great that they got the licensing for it, because I know Konami and stuff made a few of the games and everything. So I'm really, really excited for that. But yeah, I really hope that it does well, because I'd be fascinated. I'd be really interested in playing it.
Yeah, I feel like almost all the games will be too hard for me besides the fighting games. So I was thinking, I'm kind of curious.
They weren't easy games. The beat 'em ups.
Yeah. I'm interested to see all the opinions of people playing it now. It's okay, now I can see if I want it or not.
Maybe we'll stream it. We'll play it.
Yes, how that goes.
Alrighty.
After the Turtles game, there was a very short trailer for Giga Bash. It's kind of like a kaiju themed Power Stone game. At least that was what I thought of was Power Stone. So kind of top down isometric sort of brawler. 3D brawler.
Definitely looks like Power Stone. I mean, on a larger map, but yeah.
Yeah, so that looks pretty cool to me. It's a very short trailer. I'm not sure there's too much to say, but I didn't know about it before it. So because it has already been announced for a little while.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was excited for Power Stone, so that got more of a response from me than most people, I think.
Because like that's the thing. Like Power Stone came out. Like chat, please feel free to correct me. I'm sure I'm gonna get something wrong, but I feel like Power Stone was out at the same time as the original Smash Brothers, and it was like kind of like Super Smash Brothers was like the runaway hit in terms of the casual pseudo fighting game, whereas like Power Stone was kind of relegated to the like I don't know the was it a Dreamcast game? I feel like it was a Dreamcast.
Yeah,
it was pretty late.
Yeah,
Or like maybe really late PlayStation, because like I think it came in like 1999, so that would have been like
it's definitely a Sega game, isn't it? I'm pretty certain.
I thought it was Capcom, but I could be wrong.
Oh, I don't know. It's not like I've had much reason to think about that series in a long time.
That's true. But yeah, that was a Gigabash, huh?
Yeah. I also wanted to mention. I'm not sure how off track we should get, but you meant like mentioning Power Stone, like and like Super Smash Brothers.
Go for it.
I've always thought like my theory for how because like last Smash Brothers Ultimate was like everything, every single character in the game ever.
Yep.
And I was thinking it's like okay, from here they have to move somewhere else, right? So my theory was always doing Power Stone because I think that would work well with Smash Brothers.
I think
I'm not.
Yeah, I think so.
The other thing is that I think it's just like because it's 3D ish. I can imagine them not wanting to do it because of like Smash Brothers by itself is so accessible, which is why it's part of why it sells so well. But I don't know. I like the idea a lot personally.
I think it could work really. Like I don't see why not, but I think the problem there is that because Super Smash Brothers is so beloved, it would have to be like a different name or something. Like I could I feel like a Capcom would be great because Capcom's got such a variety of characters that they could work with that it would be really cool to see something like that. Who knows? Maybe that's the twist. Street Fighter 6 is actually Power Stone 3.
I'll take it.
Oh God.
So after that was the announcement of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R at the end. It's a remaster of the original All-Star Battle from PS3 that's been kind of locked to the PS3 since 2014 when it came out. It's a remaster / like redux because there does seem to be some additions to it. So in the trailer, it announces that there will be 50 playable characters. So the original topped out at 41 with DLC, like including DLC, which means that there'll be 9 more characters presumably added to it. And these will probably, as someone who is a JoJo fan and follows along, these will probably be from the last 2 series that they made the animes out of. So that is Golden Wind and Stone Ocean. Those are the 2 most recent. So I imagine they'll be from there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will be overhauling the original gameplay by, quote, making adjustments to the fighting tempo and the addition of hit stops and jump dashes.
Wow, those are pretty big gameplay changes.
Yeah, they sound like a big deal for like adding to a game afterwards. Yeah. So I don't know. I'd be interested to know just how dramatic that changes. Just to wrap it up quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
Like it'll also be adding, like making changes or adding new, so it'll be adding new audio recordings and updated graphics, like changing the color palettes of certain characters to kind of align it closer to how they looked and sounded in the anime series. And that's kind of it.
Because that's the thing, like I just started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So I'm only like 4 episodes or something in, and like I was watching the intro, like the intro like kind of montage that happens at every episode. Like I've only seen
credits.
Yeah, exactly, the opening credits, and it's like 3D models. So I was thinking like, did the game come out? Like there must have been a JoJo game on the PS3 or something that would have been, because that series I think came out in 2012 is when it like first aired in Japan, and I think like it's like took like 4 years to come to English, like come to the West in English, but like when I saw the opening credits, it was like 3D models of all the characters. I'm like, this has to have come out of a game, like
because it's maybe I think with JoJo it's like they try to be pretty
different. It looks different to every anime I've seen.
Because like there's 2 opening credits for that season that you're watching now.
Yeah,
because there's like 2 different stories in it.
That's what I was gonna say, because it's that's how they're split, aren't they? For every season.
Yeah. yeah, it's like each. So in the one you're watching is two of the parts of the series being
Gotcha.
covered in one, and
Yeah.
so there'll be another one that also uses 3D models. Um, and I don't think they
Alrighty.
ever do it again. Like it stays pretty, but it's always pretty eccentric,
Yes.
especially after a certain point.
It like
But
and it actually looks pretty true to like the original manga, because like even if you look at the
mm,
original artwork, like it is very like dirty, like very, I guess the equivalent of like pulp. Like I don't
yeah, the
know.
early stuff is like a pretty blatant ripoff of Fist of the North Star. Very bulky guys,
Look,
very masculine.
the whole time I was like, who ripped off whom? Because like the character of Jojo, you know, Jonathan Joestar, he was like very very like Fist of the North Star. Like even his like leather
Yeah,
outfit
yeah,
and everything. And I love the references to like rock and roll, you know, REO Speedwagon and
yeah, yeah.
Dio, and it's like, oh, this is so like 80s. It's I love it. It's like an unabashed reverence for like its source material.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll get into it later, maybe, because
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll
But
stop
yes,
now.
let's move
Um,
on.
oh yeah, just to finish that up though, All Star Battle R is releasing in early fall 2022. So that's spring in Australia, which is in 6 months ish,
Mm.
thereabouts. For PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox consoles, and PC. So pretty much everything. Following that was a new trailer for Trek to Yomi, the samurai cinematic platformer. Like looks a bit like Limbo.
Yeah.
This time the new compared to the previous trailers we've seen, it's very kind of supernatural and kind of focused on more like surreal visuals, which I wasn't actually expecting. I was expecting a much more period set thing, and it clearly is. But I was
Mm.
kind of surprised, like, oh, okay, this is new. This is not what they showed earlier.
Yeah, and like some very charged imagery in this, and like that kind of stark black and white, like I guess it's maybe trying to evoke like the Akira Kurosawa films, like the samurai films from like the 50s that influence, you know, spaghetti westerns and stuff in Hollywood. But this also looks a lot like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, in terms of like
Okay,
it's like it's like it's trying to be realistic, but it's definitely got like an art style. Like it's got a
mm.
definite style to it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so the new trailer kind of highlights its number of Japanese voice actors, so it won't be, which is kind of nice to know. I think it's something I tend not to think about and until like after it comes out, but it's like primary cast are Japanese actors,
Yeah.
speaking Japanese. So yeah, it's kind of nice to know before it releases.
Yeah.
So it feels like a problem otherwise. Yeah, so Trek to Yomi will be releasing on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series consoles.
Mm-hmm.
After that was the announcement of Returnal's next update called the Ascension. So made by Returnal, the Housemark, sorry, made by
Housemark. Yep.
Housemark were purchased by Sony last year, and they've kind of been quietly working on Returnal. They're like 3D bullet hell roguelike thing. Since the release, like they've been kind of adding the features that people really wanted out of it and
Like
refining it.
saving.
Yes, that's a big one. Um, so Ascension is adding two major features to the PS5 exclusive, and it's going to go live in about a week on March 22nd. So the features include a new co-op mode. So this is like a blanket mode for the main game. So
Mm.
like you can just play the main roguelike campaign with someone else.
Yep.
Then there's also a single player only survival mode called Tower of Sisyphus. It's described as, quote,
I'm
an
glad you
ascending
said
gauntlet.
Sisyphus. I was thinking of another word.
Oh, what?
Syphilis.
uh,
That's a different. That's update 4.0.
yeah. Yeah, so, quote,
I'm sorry.
it's an ascending gauntlet of increasingly dangerous phases. I somehow, surprisingly, it doesn't actually support co op, which is surprising. Like, that seems like the exact thing you'd want co op in, but yeah, still cool. Yeah, so that's again going live on the 22nd
Mm-hmm.
in about a week from now, and yeah, so that's Returnal. Um, After that was yet another Square Enix thing. The announcement of the Dio Field, Feld. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce it. I tried to look it up and I couldn't find it.
Diofield? I don't know.
Yeah, I was calling it Diofield, so I'm just going to say that.
Where do these names come from? I don't get it.
It does feel like they found random English names. Or Dio doesn't sound, whatever. Just kind of mashed them together a little bit. Diofield Chronicle. It's a new Final Fantasy Tactics looking strategy game, tactics game. Except this one is 3D and uses, quote, real-time tactical battle system, which basically means that there's free movement instead of a grid-based system, and the controls are more like using a mouse. Yeah, and it's also in real time. It's not. I'm not sure if there's pausing or not, but it's not the normal tactics game that you really see.
That's
nowadays.
gonna be. That's tough. I wonder how that's gonna work. Like real time. Like imagine XCOM but real time. That would have been. Yeah, I don't know.
So it looks a little like an RTS, except now it's Fire Emblem. That's kind of what made me think of it. What it made me think of.
Yeah. I can see it definitely has that Fire Emblem look, that pseudo medieval, like anime medieval. Like I think of things like the Fate series, like Fate Stay. I think was like the original one that definitely had this look. But I guess like Final Fantasy's been doing this since the 80s, and I'm sure that it's happened before that. So.
Well, it's like it took me a while to think of Fire Emblem, and I think a lot of it is just that it's clearly going to be kind of cast centric, like based around individual characters you remember, which isn't always true on these games. Though, I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. That's how I thought of it.
Like it also kind of also looks like Dragon Age Inquisition in terms of you've got that overworld, the tabletop overworld, and then you kind of you go into different missions in different areas, but I guess even to an extent, because like Dragon Age Inquisition's got that third person real-time action as well, the RPG elements, so it is similar, I guess, from that point of view.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to compare to like classic RPGs, like computer RPGs, I mean.
Yeah.
Now that if they're all that similar, because it could be, because Japan doesn't make many of those. So it's being co-developed by Square Enix and Landcast, the developer that worked on Monarch, Persona Q2, and the 2014 tactics RPG Lost Dimension. So they have worked on something tactical. So that's it's nice to have some pedigree there.
Which one was Q2? Persona Q2?
It's like the dungeon crawler.
Okay.
Using like all the Persona, like 3, 4, and 5 characters.
I was going to say.
It had very like chibi style to it.
Like those Pokemon mystery dungeon games maybe, but Persona.
Yeah, it's a little like that actually. Yeah. It's closer to that than most games.
Yeah.
So the Diofield Chronicle will be launching this year. It's heading to everything.
Yeah, let's just say everything.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Oh yeah, because Switch is in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And lastly was the announcement of Valkyrie Elysium, a new action JRPG, and an official revival of Valkyrie Profile series that's been kind of, I call it, I guess, asleep for a while.
Not to be confused with the Valkyria Chronicles series, right?
Does that exist?
It has to. I'm gonna commit a cardinal sin and look things up. Oh, my keyboard has died. Don't mind me.
Anyway, so Valkyrie Elysium is developed by Soleil Limited. They're the developer who worked on like Naruto to like Boruto, damn it, Boruto, Shinobi Striker, and Samurai Jack, which is a weird list of games to have.
That is weird indeed.
Yeah. Music is from Matoi Sakuraba. They worked on all sorts of things, but they worked on Tales games. They worked on a bunch of Nintendo games, and they even worked on Dark Souls as well. So otherwise, they're not. I don't know. Nothing stood out to me, but I just don't know their work very well.
Yeah.
And then
it's more pseudo. It's kind of got like that cell shaded outline, but otherwise it looks very similar to like even Diofield, like that medieval thing art style.
Yeah. And then just saying character designs by Yuya Nagai, who's most notable for making character designs in Nier Automata. and Grand Blue Versus from Arc System Works, and a couple other things. So yeah, and that's kind of the extent of what we know about it. The only description it has, I think, from the press release is, quote, "It draws on the richness of Norse mythology to present an original story set in a world on the brink of destruction, full of danger and fast-paced action combat." So the most notable thing about it is just the action part. Like, it's typically not that kind of series. So we'll be interesting to see how it compares to the previous entries.
Yeah.
By like kind of overhauling the gameplay altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Elysium is also set to launch later this year for PC, PS4, and PS5, and not every other console, like every other game. Yeah, and that kind of brings the state of play to a close for March till next month, I guess.
Were you surprised by the lack of PlayStation exclusives?
A little bit, because like as I was like making the recap, and it's like, oh, okay, every game is also over and everything else.
Yeah,
it's like I think Elysium's actually the only one. Or maybe not the only one.
Returnal, I guess.
Yeah, very few.
Yeah,
exactly.
But that's more like an update rather than a ground up new game. Because like I'm like thinking like I can't think of anything else that was except Passion Republic, and that might also be coming to Switch anyway. Forspoken. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, dude.
Oh, Gigabash. Yeah,
Gigabash. That's what I meant.
That's on PC as well, though.
Okay,
which is like almost. Oh, so is Elysium, I guess. Yeah, no, never mind. That doesn't matter. But
but like console exclusive. Sorry, that's what we mean.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all PC, PS5. So like the only thing that was like kind of closer to an exclusive was Exoprimal, which is only coming to PS5.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, no, that's not true. I was looking at the Ghostwire Tokyo one. Never mind.
Well, I don't know, man. That was a bit of a meaty state of play to get through. So kudos to you for getting that done so quickly. I think we got that out in the same day or something. Like it was a pretty big turnaround. So that was awesome, man. Great work with that. And quick plug. Anytime we mentioned like something like this, you can find the article itself on doublejump.co. Just head to the homepage and you'll find it there. It should still be the first thing up for this week. But yes, going from some happy news to some very disappointing news, and this comes by the way of Axios, Polygon, and I guess also like the original filing itself. And essentially, what's happened is that 8 women have come forward in support of a lawsuit that was filed last November. So, just to provide some context, as has been happening over the past, almost 2 years now with Ubisoft, Activision Blizzard, even like Quantic Dream and companies like Riot Games, like the topic of systemic toxic cultures, racism, gender discrimination, you name it, it's probably happened at one of these video game companies. And I guess for background, in 2021, in November, a former IT security analyst at Sony Interactive Entertainment by the name of Emma Majo, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, I'm going to go Majo, filed a gender discrimination lawsuit against Sony Interactive Entertainment, so PlayStation's parent company, alleging that there was a culture of gender discrimination and harassment at the company. And she was speaking. She said that she was representing not just herself but also pretty much all women who've ever worked at Sony Interactive Entertainment or one of its predecessing companies or still working there. And last month, Sony appealed to the court to say, hey, throw this case out. And the Sony's lawyers were saying that, quote, Majo fails to plead facts to support either her individual claims or the claims of the broad-based classes of women she seeks to represent, and obviously categorically denies any of these allegations. Now, what's happened is that 8 women have come forward, one of whom is actually a current employee, with statements adding to the lawsuit to actually say, no, Majo's right in that there are issues at SIE, and here are my experiences. So I'll go through. So these were filed in the court as well, and these also were brought to light courtesy of Axios reporter Stephen Totillo, and also added to by Polygon. So the first person, I guess, to talk about is Mary Harrington. She's a veteran of Sony Online Entertainment and Sony PlayStation, and she's been there for more than 16 years. And what she pointed out in her statement, she pointed out that there was a distinct lack of women considered for senior roles, especially with leadership, especially during quote unquote calibration sessions where staff were discussed. She even said that during one of the sessions, there were only 4 women in attendance who were considered for promotions, even though there were about 70 men who were considered for promotions. So that's there's quite a bit of a gap there. And she also said that men would rank female employees based on, quote, hotness, and also pass around, quote, filthy jokes and images of women, openly in the office. She also described an instance where one of her male co-workers said, don't wear skirts to work because, quote, you're distracting me. What the fuck? And also she also alleged that some male engineers were found to have been sharing porn during work, and that they went to strip clubs during lunch. That's something that you hear about, that you see in like movies in the 80s or the 70s, or like what workplace culture was like. Like, this is pretty crazy that this was happening like so recently.
Yeah.
Not that it excuses it. I'm just saying that it's unbelievable. Like, it's very hard to believe now, but it must happen.
Yeah. It's almost like unreal to read, like, because it's not surprising it happens, but it's just like it when you read it, or maybe it's just when it's broken down, I don't know, but when you read the details specifically, it's just like it's so blunt and so like it's just like, whoa, this still is so cartoonish, like misogynist, like it's and it's like pretty much.
And like Sony basically tries to call Neho's bluff and says, who are you talking about? There are no reports here. Show us something. Bang, 1 month later, 8 women come forward with like their own experiences. And another woman, she cited a third party stating that, quote, there was a great imbalance in terms of employee distribution, quote, in her team. Another woman, Cara Johnson, who was a former program manager, she said that she doesn't believe that Sony is equipped to appropriately handle toxic environments, end quote. She also said that she was aware of 10 women who left her office in California in the 4 months before she left herself, as a sign of systemic problems at the company. She also shared a letter with female employees that she wrote when she left in January 2021, where she cited repeated attempts to let her superiors know about the gender bias, the alleged discrimination against pregnant women, as well as the resistance from, I guess, at least one senior male HR employee to act on these allegations. So this is pretty damning stuff. Like, obviously this is still it's officially filed, but it's not proven yet in court. So it's but it sounds pretty bad so far. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. It's very hard to sugarcoat this.
I don't know. It's really hard to like. It's weird to kind of like try to discuss each individual point, because it's also kind of the scale of it.
Yeah.
So we're not even like partway through.
Yeah,
like way in.
Oh man. Like, the next person to speak was Ashley Chin. She was a former senior business analyst. She mentioned that during a group lunch, when everyone was talking about their career aspirations, and that's a quote, quote, I mentioned climbing the ladder in my career and needed to work harder to get a promotion. My senior director at the time said, you just need to marry rich, end quote, which is pretty old-fashioned way of thinking if you like kind of break it down. It's kind of fucked up. Like,
yeah, it's quite the thing to hear from someone responsible for promoting your level of
a senior
employee.
director, and this senior director is now a VP.
Oh wow.
So it's like someone pretty high up has, like we talk about work culture coming from the top to the bottom. So if your leadership is talking like this, it really paints a very bad picture of like your of the company. Another woman coming forward was Jen Russell, who was also from the program management sector. She mentioned when there was a meeting around discussing UI or user interface. There were a lot of people sitting around the table, and one person writing down ideas on the whiteboard. She said that, quote, when the experienced female suggested ideas, they were ignored. When a male made the same suggestions, they would be added to the whiteboard. End quote.
Yeah, it's
That's fucked
yeah,
up.
again, that's like I'll just kind of say what I said earlier. It's like it's so
just,
cartoonish. It's hard to imagine happening in real life.
Yeah.
It's like that one in particular is like it's so childish.
That is
and it's
so immature.
But it's like even saying childish feels like I'm reducing it down to something kind of, I don't know, less impactful than it really is. Like it's like, when I imagine myself in that position, that sounds like so painful to have to like witness personally.
100%.
Like to be like the victim of that.
Disrespectful, condescending, like it's patronizing. Like you could pretty much anything negative any negative pejorative you could think of, you can probably leverage it here. We had another program manager, this time a senior program manager by the name of Rebecca Carpenter. She said that she spent 5 years trying to get a promotion, and when she was in the product management team, she wasn't given a senior title. When she asked her manager why she hasn't been promoted, she was always given vague reasons. At one point, she was told that, when she realized that she couldn't be promoted, she changed departments and very quickly became a senior in that department. And then when she found that she switched back to the old department and kept her senior title, it kind of hit home that, I was more than qualified to have a senior title in my department. So there's clearly something happening with the management at that department. That's not the first time. There's a second time where Angelica Advincula, who's actually been with Sony, she's actually still a current employee of Sony Interactive Entertainment, formerly in the music department since 2007, and then moved over to the sound department. So when she inquired about moving up in her role, she was told that she needed a master's degree. That was very difficult to move up. And when she moved out of the department, started working in another department, saw an ad for a higher position than she originally had, she applied for it. And when she read the description, it said you only need a bachelor's degree. Even though she was told to move up, you need a master's degree. When she pressed HR on this, HR simply responded, oh my gosh, I can't believe they told you that. A master's degree is not required. Like call a spade a spade. That's bullshit. That's bullshit right there. Like, I don't know, like, maybe the leadership felt threatened or something, but the fact that it's coming from, like, when you include it with, like, allegations coming from, 7 other women, it's pretty damning.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's hard not to see it as anything but systemic. As, like, stuff like that as well. It's like it's such a like active attempt to withhold, like, kind of a career progress from someone by saying, like, you're like deliberately restraining someone's ability to like move up within the company. And it just seems to be all over the place because they're all very similar stories, just more or less insulting.
Yeah,
and
like,
even then, it's hard to engage that kind of thing. Really.
Like 3 or 4 of them are in the program management department. Like that, clearly something was going wrong over there, and it was just allowed to happen for years on end, which is what drives me even more insane. And like another anonymous woman said that she observed and experienced herself sexual harassment and sexual discrimination while she was at Sony. In particular, she said she noticed a major change when female employees would return from maternity leave, and she also was treated very differently when she returned from maternity leave, especially Like, it's a common thing that women, like, when getting asked for promotions or when projects, like, if they mention the fact that they might start a like, the fact that people, like, ask, oh, do you think having a family will affect you? Which I guess, like, independent of gender, can be a valid question. Time commitments change, availability changes, blah, blah, blah. But it seems to, and it's pointed out here, it seems to happen more often than not. It's only asked of women, whereas men are not questioned the same way. Even though men nowadays are taking paternity leave for lengthy periods of time.
Yeah.
You know?
And like so many of them have been there for a long time as well.
Mm.
Like that's something kind of, it's like when you go through the descriptions, it's something that kind of gets buried a little. It's like Advincula was there since 2007. Carpenter was spent 5 years at least there, worked for a promotion. Oh no, like more than 5. It has to be like several more years on top of that.
5 years just for the promotion.
Yeah, and then she had time to switch over to another position, then switch back. So she's been there for a long time. And then someone's like Harrington was there for more than 16 years. Like these are like lengthy periods of time to have these kind of problems. And there's no way they got like, there's like, I don't know, it's hard to imagine they kind of were much better at some stage.
Oh, so 100%. Like 15 years is a long time in any industry. You know what I mean? And to have to like chase something for 5 years to be promoted, like that's ridiculous. That's not acceptable. And I'm curious if their male counterparts experience the same discrimination, because some of the women said no, they didn't. And it also begs the question, what about people from different sexual orientations? What about people of different like racial backgrounds, ethnicities, religions? Like it's pretty crazy, because like you think about, if you look at old kind of behind the scenes videos and interviews and stuff from the 90s, even the early 2000s, it is like 99%. It's like 99% white people, and like maybe 98%, like 80% of those white people are women. Are men, right? In those senior positions. Yeah. So I'm curious of that change, because like when the tech industry was kind of booming in the like 70s, there were a lot of women. There were a lot of female engineers, computer programmers, and things like that, and that kind of changed. But like I don't know, like why has it gotten so bad again? Like why are we going back to like the way it used to be? It's
yeah. It's like there was a boys club mentality that formed within games, and then like early on, but not that early, because like a number of game makers, like pioneers within the industry, are women, like very prominent ones.
Yeah.
And then at some point, it kind of turned to a boys club, and then the games they made influenced the next wave of developers with their own sort of sexist views, as well as just being a certain type of man. Maybe, I don't know, not to put the blame on games somehow, but
yeah, Carol Shaw from River Raid. I think I just had her name in my head. Roberta Williams, behind the Quest games, the like King's Quest and stuff. I'm pretty sure she was like Sierra. Like she's like one of the pioneers of not Roberta Williams. What was her name? I think it is also a Roberta Williams, but not the one from the Gangland Murders. Like I forgot her name now. I feel really bad. But like there are pioneers in gaming that we don't really think about. Like I think of people like, I guess most recently we think of people like Jade Raymond from the Assassin's Creed series, but even then she's not really as prominent anymore. Like Gen Z from like Supergiant Games. But it's definitely an area where we could see some change. I'm really hoping to see something soon, because I don't know, man. I think it's only a matter of time before we see similar things coming out of Microsoft, and at a larger scale, because I feel like Phil Spencer kind of got away with. Remember how like there was some allegations coming out around the same time as Activision Blizzard and stuff, and like I think Phil Spencer didn't cop nearly as much as every other CEO in gaming that whenever something comes out, right? Yeah,
because within last week, I think there was something about Microsoft Game Studios, or what was it called? Like Xbox Studios, I think they're called. I don't know.
Yeah.
They had a name change sort of recently.
Yeah.
Anyway, they said something
Yes,
about
they
how
did.
like I think at least 50% of
Microsoft
them
Gaming or
like
something.
leadership
Mm.
roles are women, which
Yeah.
sounds good. I don't know. It does sound like kind of trying to get a bit of goodwill, even though it's like very much a good thing to be like told about, be publicized. But
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say though. It does feel like this is the start of like a Ubisoft style expose. Like
That's gotta come soon.
it feels so similar. Like not in that I'm not sure if Ubisoft's problems kind of trickled out in this way, but especially since there's already a lawsuit happening, which already feels like a big step forward in that sense. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm prepared to hear more bad stuff come out of Sony,
Which is not
whether it's
something you
about
want to.
gender discrimination or whatever else.
Yeah, which is not something you really want to think about. But hey,
Yeah, it's
that's
really not.
that's gonna happen, and we'll I guess when it happens, we'll be here to cover it and be shaking our heads once again. And especially like International Women's Day was just last week. Like it's like we try to like. I see a lot of companies do like token gestures of like, oh, we did a lunch with all the women in our team, but it's like you see like it's a 200-person company and like maybe 30 people are women. Like, like yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's not that's a different type of politics. So I guess we'll keep an eye on this lawsuit and see how it proceeds. But Sony called for said that these were the claims, and here are some claims. I'm sure many more are going to come out of the woodwork. Like I can only imagine the amount of women that have come and gone through Sony's doors and felt the same way. And maybe we'll see people from different ethnicities and different gender orientations and things like that as well. So I'm not going to say look forward to it. I mean, just keep an eye out. We'll let you know when that happens. Yeah, for better or for worse. Yeah. But yes, John. On to some happier news, maybe?
Yeah, more neutral at least. Well, it's not bad. Anyway, a lot more
it's not
details.
Bad. We'll take that.
Exactly. A lot more news on the next upcoming Dead Space remake, which I think is currently called Dead Space Remake when I was looking up information on it earlier. It's like remake is capitalized, so we'll see how that goes. Its developer is Motive Studios, same dev behind Star Wars Squadrons, and I think they helped out on Battlefront 2 as well.
We don't talk about that.
I thought it turned out okay.
Yeah. And I think EA Motive itself was made up of EA, the team that I think some of the people here worked on the original Dead Space trilogy. So I think there is a lineage there. Yeah.
That's a nice thing for EA to do. Close Visceral and then just fold them over into another one. So over February 11 and 12, we got a big chunk of new gameplay. And actually, I got these mixed up actually. No, it was on one day. I just realized I kind of split them apart somehow. So this included a 2-minute gameplay clip dubbed an atmospheric walkthrough. It's not really trying to be like crazy impressive. It's not trying to be like a showcase. It's meant to be more of a kind of test, like just kind of a taste test of exactly where they're up to. Otherwise, this was part of a lengthy dev live stream, which includes around 20 minutes of gameplay footage overall. But all of it's in progress and all of it's kind of aimed at showcasing specific features. So it's like lots of dev tools in a lot of the footage. But if you want to see kind of where it's at, there's the walkthrough clip specifically without that stuff. So from the clip, we've seen that it's kind of a remake of a very specific area in the early game of Dead Space 1, which kind of seems to be hinting at the idea that they aren't really going to be making any radical changes from the core game. Like everything that I think they've shown is very much the original game. It's not like Resident Evil 2 where there's like they're really overhauling a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Seemingly. We'll see. I think they are making changes when I was looking up, what they've said previously. But yeah, it's like, so not a reimagining as much is a better way to say it. And from the footage, like I think I saw a lot of comments, like including my own, saying it's like, oh, this looks exactly like I remember the first one. And then you look at footage of the old ones, like, okay, this is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like...
Yeah, it plays on the nostalgia It's like
Yeah,
the rose-colored glasses. Like, we're gonna make this game look like how you remember Dead Space, not how it actually was.
yeah, exactly. So it's not like I think like at first glance it's not that impressive. I think partly, especially because it's like part of like a live stream, so there's a lot of um, video filtering that kind of really dulls it down a bit.
Yeah, because
Kind
like
of.
I'm curious because I'd love to play through the original Dead Space because I've never played it, and
Oh,
like
okay.
I've got it on like because I got it like it's been free a few times on Origin and stuff, so definitely would love to play it. But it's like it's like, do you play it or
PC
do you wait
ports.
for this? Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't know, this is coming out sooner than I realized as well, because part of this live stream was the announcement that um that the Dead Space remake is set for early 2023. So it's not too far away, really, especially when there's so many games coming out the
Yeah.
next month or next year. I mean, um, but yeah. So some of the new information that's been coming out is the Alive system, which is an acronym, which I'm sure isn't a very good acronym. It kind of tracks Isaac's breathing, like the main character Isaac. His breathing and vocal excursions, which I'm guessing is meaning whatever. I'm not sure why that word is used. Um,
It's an interesting
so like
word.
as you play, the way that he's animated and the kind of audio cues that he's like triggering, I guess, like that's being scripted to him, are like changing. So like depending on his health, on the jump scares being like I guess like interacted with, and how long he's been like in the game, like how long you've been playing that specific run. So these various states will apparently affect dialogue, with three variations recorded based on the player's state. So these being normal, fatigued, and injured. So the new footage also showcased changes to weapon sounds and how audio occlusion works within the environment. So this means because they kind of showcase it where there's like a hallway that goes all the way to the left and then kind of U-turns all the way to the right with sound
Mm.
coming from the end. So they're saying how they kind of show how originally that sound was not making sense in a real life sense, like it was coming from the right even though it should have been bouncing along the hallway and hitting you from the left. So they've kind of been you know they've been upgrading the audio of the original game.
Which
So a
was a
lot of
big
it.
part of the ambience of the original game.
Yes, yeah. Like there's yeah, the audio is a huge part of it, and like it's my impression from the like just reading and watching bits of the live stream was that they seem to be upgrading like the foundation of Dead Space, not really changing much of like the level design or gameplay because a lot of that was already quite strong. And I think they just what's worth why bother tinkering with it when you don't have to. So I think a lot of it, so like something they've talked about as well is like something called the peeling system, where flesh will like
Oh,
strip from
yeah.
characters as you shoot them. So which is like it's not necessary, but I guess it adds to the game. Like I
Yeah.
guess like I would, you know, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Um,
A question.
yes, hmm?
You played the original games, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Would you rather they have made a new one, a reboot, or do you, or are you okay with it just being like a remake of the same game?
I'm pretty cool with it being a remake. I'm not like I don't have Dead Space 1 and 2 are those games that I remember I played a lot of it in high school and then I don't really remember them very well at all anymore.
Mm.
And they're also hard to access as well because PC ports are pretty shoddy from my understanding, and
Oh,
there are
okay.
no next gen, like there are no like ports following their original release.
Yeah, because it
So
was a 360. Because it came out in 2010, I believe. So yeah, it would have been PC, 360, PS3. I don't remember them coming to PS4, and I think maybe on Xbox One, Xbox Series is probably like one of those things where it's like frame rate boost, like just by virtue of the way Microsoft builds its emulator. But I
yeah, maybe
don't think it got an official re-release. No, I don't think it did at all. Like on any of
yeah,
those
yeah.
systems,
It's been like one of a handful of like popular games
that
or
hasn't.
like series, yeah, which is like becoming increasingly rare over the years, and it's still stuck there,
Mm.
which is strange. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with getting like a full remake personally, just
Yeah,
because I don't remember it that well anyway. So it's basically a new game to me.
I
Um,
think it'll. I think what this could do is like a remake. like companies have done this before. Like remasters and remakes are a great way to get used to like a new engine, a new system, using assets you've already had, or using like game like you're not starting from scratch. So maybe what this could mean is that if this does really well, and then EA Motive has got more familiarity with the new consoles, we might actually then see like a Dead Space 4 or like a, you know, like a next original Dead Space.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
Yeah,
could be
it's like
cool.
Yeah, that's kind of like because they'll leave them room to like expand the story and like world a bit. Because from what I understand, because I never played three. Three's the co-op one most people hated, but as I understood it, three like really locked down the story. Like
It was
you
very
completely,
linear.
yeah. Like no, it's like yeah, like it pigeonholed them in terms of like how they could follow it up or
Yeah.
expand on it. Like it just ended it.
And the
So
DLC was
and I
crazy as well, apparently. It's got a very crazy ending involving... It's got like crazy stuff involving sentient moons and weird shit like that.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, so I think there's like a lot of room to kind of expand the kind of foundation of the first one as something to create stuff out of, because they were like spin-offs as well. Actually, I just remember that it was like the light gun game on the Wii and stuff. But like
There's like comics and I think maybe even
yeah,
novels and
I actually
stuff.
forgot
Yeah.
how I actually read one of the novels. I don't remember anything about it. But
I think that says enough.
maybe. Anyway, so the Dead Space remake is set for early 2023. Just to repeat myself, there's another dev stream happening in May that will be focused on the art design. And yeah, that's the end of Dead Space news.
And that's going to do it for the news this week in general. I guess interested in seeing how that goes, and I guess let's take a quick break and transition over to the news, everyone. I mean, into the chit chat. Love that music. Oh yeah. Chat, please let us know if the audio is coming through just fine. So, John, you've been watching some things.
Yeah, I wanted to. I'm not sure how much I'll talk about it. It's always hard to talk about movies like by myself on the podcast. I don't know why, but it always is. But I watched Turning Red, the new Pixar movie that was on Disney Plus. Like, so no theater release, which is a bummer actually. Yeah, it's like my favorite Pixar movie in a bit. Like because I really liked Coco, the like
The one with the
Mexican themed.
guitar
Yeah, that
movie.
one.
Yeah.
Like I love that one, and I think since those two, I'm like Turning Red's like one of my new favorites, along because I really like Ratatouille. That's like one of my favorites of Pixar generally,
Was that
and that one kind
Pixar
of
or was that just Disney?
that was Pixar, yeah,
Oh, was it?
yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
But it's like yeah, this one like for me personally, it like ranks up there. Like I really love it, like because
Sick.
it's like I love the animation, I love like the character designs. I'm trying to go through my notes because I take notes on movies a lot of the time, but I actually wrote a lot, so it's hard to get through. But it's like it's kind of my favorite like 3D animated thing in a while because I felt like it kind of riffed on like 2D anime or just like Western animation a lot because there's like a lot of like still frames where like because I feel like I don't see that much in 3D animation where it kind of like slows down and
Yeah.
lets you like kind of drink in an image. Like I don't know, I feel like I don't notice that too often.
Hmm.
Because I watched Encanto, the Disney movie, over the weekend as well. I don't know
Yeah.
why I wanted to watch these movies, especially Encanto. I think I remembered it was like, oh, that was meant to be good, so I watched it.
Well,
But that one didn't like strike me as much, like nearly as much as
I
this
had a
one.
question.
Hmm?
Do you think that like now that these movies are pretty much just like Disney Plus, it kind of like devalues them in a way? Like Pixar movies used to be like a, like a big deal, like not too long ago, right? And I feel like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It doesn't
Well, it's like,
seem the same.
yeah, I don't disagree, but it's like I think that's like the reason Disney are specifically using Pixar movies for this is because they know it drives up subs. Like,
Yeah.
it's like because a lot of these are choice, like the way they decide these, or at least that's the way I see it. It's not like I know, but they kind of choose things based on what will get people to sub for an extra month, just for a month. Like you're essentially trying to get people to buy a cinema ticket, just a
Yep.
subscription version of it. Like it's like, oh, what will get $10 out of people
Yeah.
for this specific chunk of time?
And you know that
So that,
a chunk of those people will forget to like cancel cancel
yeah,
their
exactly.
subscriptions anyway.
Yeah, so it's like win-win for them. Like they get money either way. So it's like that's how I see it. Whereas like Pixar, like compared to the Disney movies, are apparently good. I really don't watch many of those ones, but
Yeah.
Pixar movies like have that reputation, so they know it. Like it's like, oh, a Pixar movie. Like I want to like I want to spend money on that because I know it's good or it should be good, even though their reputation has kind of faltered. I think in the last decade or so compared to where it was, but. It's anyway, that's how I see it. But I really would like to see this in the cinema because the animation is just completely gorgeous. Like I really love it. And yeah, it's like I don't know, like this is one of those things where I'll just be kind of going over how much I like every aspect of it. So I think I'll just cut it there for now. But it's like I love the direction, I love the music, I love like blah blah blah. It's all very good. So go watch it if you're at all interested, I think.
I love that the evil grandma from the Marvel Netflix shows is like in this as the grandma.
Oh, I don't remember her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. She didn't talk much in those shows, so I don't expect that. Finally, a Kiwi streamer. Hello, hello. Not quite Kiwi. We are from Australia. But we are very fond of our Kiwi friends. So thank you so much for joining us, Paula. How was your evening or morning going? Sorry, John.
No, it's fine. I was just thinking, I was like, wait, is it you that's maybe Kiwi or me?
Oh.
Probably you, really. I'm too pale for that. But
all
yeah.
good, all good. I know that maybe my accent sometimes can be a bit confusing. Oh, hello. Oh, we've got Polar Knights is from Norway. Hello to our Norwegian friends. Really appreciate you joining us.
Hey.
We are, if you've just joined us, we are talking about Turning Red, the new Pixar film, Disney/Pixar film that premiered over the weekend on Disney Plus. Or it might be called Disney Star in other countries. I'm not sure. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you so much for the subscription. You're a bloody legend, as we say down under.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, I don't think I have too much to add though. Yeah. If you watch it, we'll talk about it more. But otherwise, I think I'll just leave it there.
Thank you for following as well. We really appreciate it. Please, if you have a question for us about anything going on in gaming, please ask it in chat, and John and I will answer it at the end of the segment. But yes, John, what else?
Yes.
We appreciate the Polar Knights. I assume this is how it is done. You sub and then follow. It's totally up to you. We appreciate anything that you can do to support us. But yes, definitely, please join the community. Our Discord links on the stream at the moment. So please join the community, say hi, and yeah, please ask us a question. More than happy to answer it for you. John, yes, sorry, please.
No, that's fine. Watch the Batman as well.
Yes.
I'm not sure if we should save that for later for like spoiler stuff. If you want to get into anything like that, or should I? What are you thinking?
We could do that. I mean, it depends. Like, yeah. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll have a proper spoiler chat at the end. So,
Okay.
maybe before we move on to what you've been playing, John, we've got a question from Polar Knights. Question: is it true that Russians are getting banned from European gaming servers on Friday? Ooh, that is a good question. I know that specific companies have started banning teams and European organizations, but I'm not 100%.
I know like Pokemon Go is banning Russian players. Well, I guess that's got something to do with it being like a GPS-based game and stuff.
Yes,
so I'm not sure.
yes.
A lot of them are locking players out generally, I imagine. But I really don't know.
Got you. Yeah, so so Epic Games is banning Russian competitors from Fortnite tournaments. and I guess Pokemon Go saying that I guess using the geolocation part of the game is banning people located within Russia and Belarus, and uh, Sony, Microsoft, Epic Games, quite a few companies have pulled their games from Russian stores and Russian digital. It is messed up. It is a tricky situation because it's difficult because I don't know if you agree, John, but like I get why these sanctions are happening, but I feel like maybe it's affecting the wrong people. Not everyone. I guess it's assuming that everyone in Russia and Belarus is supporting the invasion of Ukraine. Like, not every player is. Like, maybe someone just happens to be in that country, but isn't for what's going on, and it just caught up in all of this. Like, I'm not sure if I agree with this kind of like nuclear sorry, not nuclear. No, let me take that back. With this like kind of like really like drastic option. What do you think?
It's because I just to mention it quickly, I know GSC, the developers Stalker 2, they've announced they're not going to sell that game in Russia at all. But they're also Ukraine.
They're based in
also
Ukraine.
They've also got stronger ties.
I believe
to
also.
the situation.
I think 4A Games, which is the developers of the Metro series, I think also are based in Ukraine because I think they were a splinter of GSC Game World from back in the day. Polar Knight says that I have a buddy in Russia. He can't use his Netflix. That's that I feel for them. Obviously, I'm hoping that they're not for that. Like the thing about all this stuff happening in the Ukraine is that why is it only such a big deal when America kicks up a fuss? Like, why do we not say anything when it's like China doing something or the Middle East doing something? There's so many countries around the world.
There's I was seeing comparisons about like how are people not responding this way with Syria
and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like just if it's happening with people of darker skin, that it's not Polar Knight saying it is the blue eyes factor, not this big a fuss when USA invaded Iraq. Like, that's the thing, you know what I mean? I maybe it's also the fact that we live in a more connected world, a more socially connected world, that news spreads so quickly. You're not just reliant on what you see on TV. Like, you see things on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever. Like, you're just bombarded with all this news every day. Compared to 20 years ago when the U.S. invasion of Iraq, the second U.S. war in Iraq, like, there was a very different world back then. And I don't know. Hindsight's 2020, maybe. That's all I'm gonna say.
Honestly, I'm not I definitely don't feel like I have enough information to say other than it does feel kind of odd when it's kind of game makers and publishers taking these steps to ban the average citizen, which is that kind of stuff feels relatively ineffectual and more I don't know, that feels kind of grandstanding a little bit, just because it's it tends to hit so few people that matter. But I don't know, I really wouldn't know much more than that, I think.
Polar Knights asks, how is Big Red the movie? I presume you mean Turning Red. John liked it overall, but if you want to know his more in-depth thoughts, just subscribe to Doublejump Radio, and when this episode goes live, hopefully in the next couple of days, John, you can listen to John's in-depth kind of discussion about it. It's a cool in-depth,
in-depth is generous.
Maybe if I watch it this week, we can have a deeper talk about it next week.
Maybe.
John, you also played some. We talked about it before, but you did play the third demo of Stranger of Paradise.
Yes. You actually really liked it a lot, because I really like the gameplay systems, because it's kind of based on Neo.
Yep.
Except it's far simpler and more kind of hack and slashy, but it still has, and it has the job system from Final Fantasy, kind of, where it's just a bunch of skill trees, class systems that you kind of make your way through to
Yeah.
unlock more classes that give you like a lot of passive bonuses to your gameplay. It's just like the progression system is very, very fun to me. And I was like
Yes, for
kind of
sure.
surprised to hear like the lukewarm reviews. And then when I read a few of them, it basically, because I thought the gameplay would like bring it up to Neo levels. Because, oh yeah, because that's another point. The story is like completely awful. Like I was really underestimating how bad it would be. Like the writing is so poor.
It was really cheesy when we saw those first trailers. Like,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
must
Like
kill chaos.
yeah, because I played the first demo and it stands out as like, okay, this sucks. But it's like, it's so like, it's really kind of stunning where it's just like playing through like a chunk of the game. Because this is like, the demo is like the first section of the game. And like, you really get a sense it's like, oh wow, there's like nothing redeemable in this other
Yeah.
than to laugh at it. But it's also just kind of so like mundane and so like trite. It's just so like there's just nothing there to really enjoy when you have to be subjugated to so much of it.
Yeah.
Is that the word? No, I don't think it was. But anyway, it's like there's so much of it, and it's just like it gets boring very fast.
I think being
It gets boring very
subjected to it.
quickly. Yeah, that's it. Damn, that's a bad word to mistake. Anyway, I really like the gameplay, but I think from reading the reviews, my impression was that the story never gets any better, which is a real problem for a game that goes for a while. And two, the gameplay kind of I got the sense from way people described it is that kind of it doesn't like hold its value over time. Like it doesn't have legs as a gameplay setup. Like it gets kind of too repetitive and you just I don't know how long it is, but like thinking back on it, it's like, oh, okay, I could see that. Just because I really enjoyed it, but it's also I think it's just playing a Soulsy-ish, Neo-ish game that's quite easy,
Yeah.
and kind of getting caught up in how much I'm enjoying not dying constantly.
Yes.
So that might be part of it.
Yeah. And
Um,
and yeah, Polar Knight's talking about, not being impressed by games like this, wanting something like, playing Halo for the first time where you're just blown away by the quality of the games. Yeah, this doesn't seem like that.
yes. Yeah, it's not really. Yeah, it's a harsh comparison to first time with Halo. I think it's not
Yeah.
really. It's even as like a Soulsy thing, it makes like a bad impression, because it's not Soulsy at all in that it's not hard at all, and you lose nothing. You lose like practically nothing when you die, so doesn't have the same gameplay
So
loop.
so is it anything like even on the level of like a platinum games release, like a Nier Automata?
It's closer to that. I haven't played Automata much beyond the demo, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure how closely it compares
Have you
with that,
played
but it's closer
Bayonetta
to that.
and games like that, like from
Yeah, I
Platinum?
played a lot of those.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how does it feel compared to that? Is it that type of game? Because it looked like it.
Well, that's kind of why I tried to say like hack and slash. Like it's kind of like a loot heavy action game with the kind of general like camera perspective and level design of Neo,
Okay.
which was also sort of Soulsy, except it was
Yeah.
level based instead of like a big, large environment that you traverse through.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that breaks it down okay. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I don't know because that kind of I think that kind of sums up a lot of what I said. It's like there's 2 points. It's like I like the gameplay a lot, but from what I've read, it doesn't hold up over time,
Yep.
which is a disappointment.
Hmm.
Because I would like to play it eventually, even
Yeah.
though there's too much good stuff coming out
Especially
recently to
like,
play it.
especially because it ties in with like a 40-year-old story. Like the original Final Fantasy, I think it serves as a prequel to that in some way. Like it's related to it, right?
Well, something I wasn't aware of until I was reading reviews is that this game was meant to release as part of the 35th anniversary of the Final Fantasy series. So, and a
Oh
lot of the
wow.
levels are like blatant, like are directly based on Final Fantasy games. So there's one that's based on like the Mako reactor of Final Fantasy VII. There's a few more like
Gotcha.
that, like directly like, basing itself on different games
Okay.
in the series. And it's just like, I'm not sure it's a very good celebration. I don't
Yeah.
think it really succeeds at doing that. But
Some harsh criticism coming from Polar Knights. I don't want to play games my dad did play. That's a bit harsh. What if your dad played Halo though, and you saying that you want to play Halo for the? Then again, I don't know how old you are, so maybe it's a different conversation. But yeah, Yeah, because like I remember like when they showed the original, I think one of the original trailers, we saw like the Dark Knight, like the all black knight, and I think people were speculating that, oh no, I think this is like the Black Mage from the original Final Fantasy. This is like their final form or something. It was
Okay.
yeah, I think there was some speculation like that, but anyway.
I remember part of the way that this game's development went is that people, like Americans in particular, I think, like immediately figured out the twist of the game, which is that the main character is like the villain or something of the first game, or somehow ties into him.
Yeah.
And they figured it out so quickly that they had to completely change their marketing because like they couldn't keep like dancing around it.
Yeah. Trust the internet to figure this stuff out now.
Yeah, I was really shocked. Like, I'll kind of end it here, but it's like there's like real talent on the writing side of it. Like,
Okay.
these people have been involved with like critically acclaimed games in the Final Fantasy series, and the writing is so poor on like every side so far. It's I don't know. It's very surprising to me just how much of an impact that kind of it makes on me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Set yourself up for disappointment there, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah. What about you? You've been watching stuff?
Yeah, well, I guess I started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the official anime series. So I know you talked about it with some reverence recently, and I was like, oh, you know what? I've seen all the memes, all the roundabout memes. I'm like, I've got to actually start watching. So I started watching it. I started watching the first 4 episodes. Like, listen, it's not the best. Like,
yeah, the first part is different.
Very crude. Like, there's a lot of like logical leaps and skips you have to do with the first couple episodes. And it's kind of fucked up. Like this Dio character that we're like is the main villain in the first like story arc is like so like there's like nothing redemptive about this person besides the fact that he had a shit dad growing up, but like he's so like just evil.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like
you'll become aware of that as if you ever like get through a good chunk of the series.
Yeah,
Dio is rad.
Okay, cool. I guess he does come back, or his descendants or something.
In the first part, it doesn't become all that clear unless you have a certain taste in things.
Yeah,
yeah.
I presume like the inkling I get is that like it follows the descendants of the Joestar family throughout time, and I'm sure that there's also descendants of the Brando family, like the Dio side, or like equivalents to him in each arc, in a way.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
there has to be. It's like a.
So I won't spoil it, but
yeah.
Like you are more. You kind of you're not that far off.
Like it kind of sets off like, but the thing is like Jonathan Joestar from. I'm sorry, but that's just it's just funny when they just like when characters make a big deal of pronouncing his name. It's and then they just resort to JoJo afterwards. Is like it's cool. Like. Just let me know this. Does the mask continue being relevant in later series?
A little bit.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. I can now make
I think that's right. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a second. I haven't thought about the series all that much in a little while, so my memory might be a bit foggy with certain things. But I will say, because I think part 1 ends at like episode 7 or 8 or something.
Yeah.
Like you're not that far off the end.
Yeah.
And then part 2 is right after that. Part 2 is great. Like I love that series.
Sweet.
Like that one I really love.
And Apollo says, this is a first for me. I can now make an X on my bucket list where I've seen other bloke's bed and his toys. So I guess your bed and my toys in the background.
I've got toys like that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you do. Oh, nice.
There. Yeah.
Hey, why not, man? These are our spaces. We can do what we want. Yeah. So I'm halfway through the Pat LeBeau movie. I haven't like halfway through it. Just kind of stop watching it. I got to get back into it. So Pat LeBeau, the mobile police. So John watched the movie. Didn't realize it was an anime series. I don't know if you watched the anime, but the OVA series. So I watched the OVAs when John told me about the movie because inevitably what happens is when I find out about a new property, I research the shit out of it, and then I'm like, okay, do I need to watch anything to enjoy blah blah blah. And it turns out that the OVAs, the original video animations, like basically like a series of 7 episodes, like half-hour episodes, the characters in that go into the movie. Like it's a direct continuation of the OVA, whereas the anime that came out at the same time is unrelated, which is confusing as heck,
Yeah.
as hell. But anyway, I'm enjoying JoJo's Bizarre Adventure so far. I really, it's like it's. I mean, if you say it's over top, but then so is Dragon Ball Z. So it's like talking about power levels and like inevitably someone who's got more potential than everyone else. Like,
Yeah, the over the top nature of it becomes clear in the second part, and even
Yeah.
then, it kind of constantly escalates throughout the
which
series.
I don't know how, because it's already escalating pretty fast. So which is
In
I
the
love it.
third season, it's kind of when it takes its like true form as a series. The first parts are kind of like different.
Testing the waters.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
cool.
it's like I don't think you can like fully comprehend how odd it is as a series until you've kind of watched a good amount of it.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I guess before we talk about the Batman, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the trailer came out, like the proper full length trailer came out this week. What do you think? What did you think, John?
I don't think I realized until I read comments saying like mentioning the music. I was like, oh, that's why I was kind of drawn into it.
Yep.
Because otherwise, the trailer's like it's not bad or anything, but I didn't realize like, oh, that's kind of why I'm digging it. I think also seeing places that aren't Tatooine helps too. Also, there is a lot of Tatooine.
Yes, I was going to say that. Is that like maybe it's COVID filming locations, travel restrictions and stuff, but it is definitely a lot of Tatooine.
Yeah, it's not. Well, it's like I was excited. Like the not Hong Kong alien planet is like exciting enough to me, where it's like that's what I remembered.
Yeah,
I think I'm already over. Like I'm over Tatooine, but I think I'm like over complaining about it after our Boba Fett talks, where it's like okay, I'm out of energy with that stuff. So I'm like I'm enthused by it. Like it's got like it's like the main thing is that Ewan McGregor is back. And he's very good
Hello
at that
there.
role.
I
And
love
he's a good
that.
actor in general. Yeah. And like that's kind of enough to carry me forward with like interest in it. Like I'd probably watch it anyway, really, because Star Wars stuff, like there isn't that much of it that comes out that it's like hard to follow.
Yeah,
Because
we haven't really had returning characters like with the same actors in the shows, have we?
Well, it's like, oh, does Boba Fett not count? I guess he kind of counts, but
I guess
not
he kind
really.
of counts. I mean, technically, he was Jango Fett. I mean,
Mark
yeah,
Hamill was technically voiced by him.
Oh,
They just
God,
had it all, computer puppet over him.
And there was all those like things on the internet talking about Sebastian Stan, who should have played him instead. Like,
Yeah, I saw that
you
as
see the
well.
similarities. I can see that, but I don't know. Yeah, they really. Okay, like I'm just worried because, like, The Mandalorian season 1, I think it was good. Mandalorian season 2, I think was better. I think it really kind of like hit its stride. I think it knew what it wanted to do. It kind of like it had an arc finally. Whereas I feel like the Mandalorian season 1, there were a few in between episodes where it was just kind of like nothing to do with Grogu's journey. And then like Boba Fett, we get like the Mandalorian, I guess season 2.5, and then basically just like resets everything that like wipes away everything that was of consequence at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian in terms of Grogu and stuff, right? And then this, it's like, okay, it opens with Tatooine. A lot of it's Tatooine. The posters about Tatooine. I feel like the bits we saw of like the city were maybe one episode.
Yeah. Yes, like every time it gets brought up, I keep thinking about how how Tatooine was originally meant to be like nowhere. Like it was just like a dumpster or planet. And there's been so much of the Star Wars series based on it now that it's like the center of the universe.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing how that shifted. Because like Coruscant, like the kind of like shiny
city planet.
city planet.
Yeah.
It's like with like 6 trillion people or whatever on it. Like, it has a lot of people on it, and like you don't ever see it.
You,
And it's kind of
yeah.
amazing. Like, I'm not like upset by it. It's just kind of like I would like different locations mainly. Like, I don't care about whatever else, but it's yeah, it's I don't know. It's like, so it's amazing that the Hong Kong planet stuck in my mind so much more than Tatooine did.
So is that not Coruscant?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they've like said it, like in interviews and stuff. I think they've explained it's like a separate planet. Yeah.
Gotcha. Because like thank God. Because yeah, I've just been burnt. I mean, let's be honest. We're gonna watch them. It's not like we're not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
We'll begrudgingly watch it. Polar Knight says, I don't want to watch a bloke walking in the sand all day. I can just as well watch an Aussie do a walkabout. Yeah, I guess that's... I mean, to be fair, you saw a Kiwi do a walkabout in Boba Fett. So.
Yeah. I guess we'd... Yeah.
Yeah.
Never get to see a Scottish guy do it. Isn't that where Ewan McGregor's
from?
Yeah,
he's Scottish. Yeah. But he's got a British accent in this because he's basically playing like a young Alec Guinness, like from the original like trilogy, and like Alec Guinness is like very like, I think he was like a theatre actor, so like very good enunciation and stuff, very Shakespearean delivery, and apparently he like hated Star Wars, like he thought it was like the devil's, like kind of devil stories because it was like dealing with like supernatural stuff. Which I think Harry like, Potter got that like, as well.
When he said like hated Star Wars, I didn't expect the next word to be devils.
Is Boba Fett a Kiwi? Wow, that explains him being a crime lord. I don't know what that means. What? Are you talking about Jake the Muss from Once Were Warriors, who Tamir Morrison played? So Tamir Morrison is the actor who plays Boba Fett. He played Jango Fett, Boba Fett's father, in the original... In episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and I guess like it was kind of like retconned that he was Boba Fett as well, because Boba Fett being a clone of Jango Fett meant that it would be genetically identical, so you'd have the same actor, I guess, playing it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So excited, but let's see.
Yeah, I also like added some bits to our show notes about like there was like news came out today that apparently this was like delayed significantly because the original scripts were too dark. So they've been
What?
It's kind of an interesting point.
It is dark. The Jedis have been hunted. They're being hunted. Like he's like one of the surviving ones. Like how is that not dark? How do you make that not dark?
Yeah,
put the Ewoks back in or whatever.
Yeah, so they brought in new writers to craft a sunnier story.
Oh,
so
great.
I don't know what.
Sunnier. Okay,
or
Tatooine. They're 3 suns now. Oh, man. It's, man, I'm worried. You know how you talked about Final Fantasy Origin and how there's like a lot of stellar writers on there, but it still turned out to be a bit kind of cringe. I think that is the problem when you have that many rewrites. Like when you have that many people trying to make something happen, like there's no like singular voice to give it cohesion. Excuse me, to everything. So I wonder if it's going to be like every episode is like it's like a crime procedural. Like it's like sort of like how Mandalorian had that, where it's like every episode was like a different story, its own story. So I wonder if that's going to happen here when you have the different writers, because then that would be cool. But
well, it's like a lot of TV shows have like a lot of separate writers, regardless of like the way the story they're telling.
That's true.
It really could turn out. I don't know. I'm curious to see how, like, if the starting point for this series development was ultra dark. Like, is it like the quote is incredibly bleak? I think it says something like that.
I'll take
that. Incredibly dark. I don't know. But it's like yeah. So I don't know. It has to be a little kind of grim still, I imagine. I'm just kind of interested to see where the story goes from there. But
yeah, and apparently Hayden Christensen's in this. Like, I think he's seen in the trailer a little bit, like teased, but I don't remember seeing him. But
yeah, I remember seeing the Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
like the one who kind of looks like Darth Vader without a mask.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I was like, okay, so we get that person, but it's like I don't know. It's like. It's set not long after Revenge of the Sith, but it's like it's been like 17 years. He's not going to look the same, But maybe they'll just say, "Oh, the
Yeah.
stress
Well,
of
they
being in
added a bit
hiding."
of grey hair to
Okay.
his head. Like, isn't that enough?
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. He's a lot more like he looks older than Qui-Gon Jinn when Qui-Gon Jinn in episode 1, and it's only meant to be but I guess it's like meant to be like what 6 years or something. But I don't know,
Yeah.
man. It seems like a lot more than that. But yeah.
He has been living on a sand planet by himself.
Yeah,
Maybe that's part of it.
as we know, as any tradie like bricklayer from the older generations will tell you, being in the sun all day will age you prematurely. So who knows? Who knows? I'm just hoping. I wonder, like, let's speculate a little bit. Where do you think the series ends? Do you think the series ends where Star Wars Episode 4 takes, like, where that takes off, or do you think this is going to be a how should I put it, like a multi-season series, and then at the end of that we'll see like the old guy Obi-Wan?
I think they've already called it a limited series, so I'm not sure we'll see much else.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I could see it having like a time skip and having like very prosthetics heavy Ewan McGregor at the end. But I don't know, the way I see the story is just Obi-Wan kind of confronting Anakin again, and sort of hopefully that being kind of pretty dramatically heavy in a way that's worthwhile.
What do you mean?
I don't know, because a lot of these it feels like it might be more of there's a lot of, hopefully there's some good dramatic scenes between the two of them is kind of what I meant.
Yeah.
Because I think from what's been discussed about the show so far is the idea is that Vader's like Anakin's incredibly just full of rage and hunting and like Obi-Wan down or something like that. Obi-Wan's kind of got his own like incredibly depressed feelings about how things turned out years ago.
To be fair, Obi-Wan, like the Jedi suck. Like their whole order sucks. Like they're kind of lame.
Yeah, and that could be something they could. I mean, they won't, but like that could be something you could discuss his own like background, as it like without having the Jedi Order to like fall back to in any way, like his isolation. There's a lot there you can do like narratively. I'm just not sure quite if they're gonna really live up to the potential of it.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like like the Clone Wars were mentioned in Episode 4. Where it's like, I fought alongside your father in the Clone Wars. It's like you fought in the Clone Wars, and it's like, and then we didn't hear anything about it until like Episode 2, and then like we had the animated series and stuff. But it's like Obi-Wan's meant to be like this badass, but like you don't really see that too much in. I don't know. Like he chopped Darth Maul in half, but I feel like you didn't see too much of his like awesomeness in Episode 2. I guess Episode 3 was a little bit different, but hey, he beat Anakin, and Anakin was meant to be the chosen one, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not really too interested in like more lightsaber battles as quite as much. I mean, they will be there, but I don't know. I just kind of hope it's like compared to Boba Fett. There's just kind of, like that's what we ranted. Like that's what I ranted about for a long time.
Yeah,
it was just like Boba Fett series had a lot going on they could have tackled, and for whatever reason they didn't, and it just ended up feeling like a total waste of time, like almost total waste of time. Like nothing, like there's so little to it that's like worth watching, like in the grand scheme of things. And I'll hopefully that's not how this one goes. I imagine Ewan had to be kind of brought in by either a lot of money or like a compelling script or both. So hopefully that's kind of what's going on. So
no, I'm just saying Polar Knights added, I love sci-fi, especially that movie where those hobbits travel in the Stargate looking for that ring to unite the planet of Hogwarts against the evil Jedi on the Battlestar with the Vulcan captain. I guess that kind of summarizes all the pop culture we'll probably ever reference in this show in one sentence there.
Yeah, we just end it there, really.
I think that's the thing with like a lot of sci-fi now is there's just too much lore to kind of. I think everything tries to become. I don't know. Like I guess I haven't read a lot of new stuff like sci-fi. Maybe I should. If you have any recommendations of books to read, I'll definitely would take. Don't say Dune. Besides Dune, I don't know, John. Anything? I guess like we'll find out soon enough, but. I'm hoping this is a more Mandalorian season 2 than a Boba Fett. I think that's what we're trying to say.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, let's just quickly talk about the Batman because I know we're running I guess almost 2 hours now.
Hmm.
What did you think about it?
I liked it a lot. I feel like I appreciated it more for its like visuals and atmosphere
Yeah,
a lot. Like I feel like I kind of underestimated how strong that element would be in the movie. I really
yeah,
liked that. Like it's just so like it's so it reminded me of 90s movies
mm,
where they had like where movies would have like a gigantic budget to just throw into being like a full large scale genre
like
piece.
a world.
As if
Yep.
yeah, like because it's all done like so much of it's done physically or seemingly. Maybe it's laid in or whatever, but like it's I know it's very like it's just a very powerful on a visual and a aesthetic level, which I feel like I don't see much from big budget movies. That was very exciting. Um, yeah, just kind of get through stuff quickly, I guess. Is
What are your notes? Tell me.
yeah, so I liked yeah, like the big flaw I found with it was that
Oh,
I felt
Polar Knight,
Bruce was
sorry. There are going to be spoilers. These are good. If you want to know about like a non-spoiler talk, maybe listen to last week's episode of Doublejump Radio. But yes, John, I just thought I'd warn anyone
yeah, that's
listening or
fair.
watching right
I'm
now.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure I'll actually touch on spoilers
Sure,
specifically, just because my opinions are more like broad. I
sure,
think like
sure.
that's what I wrote down. But so the one thing I didn't really like about it was Bruce felt sort of like as a character, he felt kind of half-hearted to me. He kind of felt like he wanted to. It's like they wanted to have him be really kind of alien and remote, but it felt like because of that, it kind of undermined the dramatic moments that he was involved in. Like it's not like I didn't care about him at all, but it did feel like there was moments where he kind of acted in a really cold, like kind of distant way, especially with Selena, and it
It's
ends up kind of
and Alfred, like he's just a dick.
yeah, and it's like I don't mind that. It's just like it ends up kind of it felt like they were trying to do both more than just trying to stick with like I liked I'd rather him not be some kind of completely cold robotic weirdo because that's its own problem that sounds worse. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like they didn't quite balance it right. Like
Okay.
because Pattinson did a good job, I thought, but um yeah, I don't know. Like it's like his scenes with Selena ended up feeling like Selena, like Kravitz playing Selena did such a great job. Like she had a lot more charisma in that role than I expected her to have.
Yeah.
Just kind of judging from the trailers,
Yeah.
but it kind of feels like she's playing like the scenes with
Both sides.
Bruce by himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like it feels like she's doing like all the work, which is kind of disappointing. Like it, I don't
But
know, they're
she's
not
not
really
really in
bouncing off each
scenes with
other.
Bruce. She's in scenes with Batman, right? But I guess like that kind
Oh
of that
yeah, that's
coldness
fair.
carries over. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's
But
like I
did you
get that
yeah.
Batman its own thing, but
Did you see that
I'll keep going.
did you see that transformation though in that like third act where you did see Batman change from a cold-hearted kind of like you know when like there's some reconciliation there, you know, reconciling with Alfred and making and like, you know, like like spoilers, but like, you know, that whole symbolism of uh like, you know, like when the guy says I'm vengeance, and then that's like the symbolism of like, oh, he's realized now that he was just like that person, and then he like kind of becomes a hero, like, and like did you kind of get that sense of transformation there of his character towards the end?
I'm not sure actually, because like I understand that's what I was trying to do. I don't. I think I did kind of get that, but I think it's also like I think what like my problem with it is that it felt like Batman slash Bruce felt like so like at arm's length as a character. Like
Yeah,
it had like the narration at the first part, and I remember thinking it's like, oh, I've kind of like I can tell this like the way it's written feels like a little over the top, but it feels appropriate to the character, and I like that.
yeah,
But then you kind of don't really get any more of that as it goes on. Like not in that I want more narration specifically, but you don't really get much more sense of him. Like he
yeah.
has this like exchange with Alfred early on, where he's just like, "You're not my father,"
You know what,
and it's like
Dad?
it felt like,
Get off my back. Like, oh yeah,
yeah, like that's fine. It's just that it felt like they were trying to do like a lot of heavy lifting very
yeah,
quickly within like a
yeah,
few
yeah,
lines, and it's
yeah.
just like, it's like, huh,
Like,
okay,
yeah, I guess, yeah. And he did really come off as a dick there, but it's like, man, it's been like 12, 20 years, or what has it been like? Yeah, 20 years since that happened. Like, it's like, come on, man. Like,
mm,
you're 32 now, or whatever you are. Like,
I was
Come on.
surprised how old he's meant to be. I was
Yeah.
thinking, I'm surprised he didn't make him like, not in that it matters much at all, but like I was kind of thinking it's like he feels like someone who should be in his mid-20s.
Yeah, but
So
he's
I was
like
thinking
early
how in the
30s
comic
in
book,
this. Yeah.
yeah, like, but like not in that it matters, but
Yeah.
in the comic books, his like prime age, like his default age is like 29 or 27.
Yeah, in
Like
his
he's net
prime.
like that's every time he's in a story, it's like always that age.
Yeah.
And I was thinking how like he's 31. I was like, that's like, I mean, it's fine, but I don't know, for some reason that stuck in my head a lot over like ever since I heard about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like a couple things just to really kind of burn through it a bit.
Go for it.
First, like the other things, I found the entire rest of the cast pretty great. Everyone like I felt like everyone really chewed the scenery in a great way,
Yeah.
like almost everyone.
They loved
And
it.
it kind of yeah, like I remembered like it reminded me of how I was talking about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man
Yep.
movies and how there's like especially the villains, but everyone in those movies are like just
Got
like
their chance.
so like really hamming it up in a way that like perfectly works. And this one felt like, man, you don't really see too many big budget movies do that on purpose so successfully.
Yeah.
Usually because they're not set in like these really gorgeously created worlds
Yeah.
where they really feel like they're part of that kind of silly environment, you know?
Hmm.
Like this one felt like that, you know?
Yeah, like, oh man, I loved. It was just oozing atmosphere. Like Gotham, you really believe that this Gotham was its own city, that it wasn't just
Yeah,
like Chicago. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Um,
as you
yeah,
do, we
so
need to
aside
open a
from
P. Yes, Polar Knights. Apparently, Christian Bale gave that advice to both Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson about the suit, is to make sure that the suit that you're able to pee, that they put in a flap in the suit, and that you can move your head, because apparently that's very difficult to do. And Polar Knight says, "I love Batman as a man that fall for men. Oh my god, those tight bodysuits. So I get why you guys love it. I mean, that's not sure why I love it, but you know what? You do you.
yeah, and
No
last
bat
point
nipples though. There were no bat nipples like there were in the George Clooney one.
yeah, it reminded me a lot of the Arkham Knight suit and also kind of remember the Origins suit a little bit, like the more handmade one in that game that never got released.
Yeah, the prequel to the Arkham Knight trilogy, from WB Montreal. Yes.
Yeah, it reminded me of that a little bit. But my last point that I wasn't expecting, like just like the main point that's not just like saying how good something is, I guess, is I was kind of surprised with the Batmobile because I already kind of loved its design, but
Yeah.
one thing I didn't expect about it was like how loud it is and how clever that is as like a feature to make this Batmobile about. Like it's so fucking loud.
It's a
and like
fucking
it sounds like
car.
Yeah, no, but it's not just that. It sounds like a monster. So it's
Yeah.
like there's like that bit in the where like they're chasing down Penguin and the car's like booting up, and it's just like it sounded like roaring, like so much louder than like everything else in the mix. I love it. Like it's just something I hadn't ever thought of with these kind of things. Like with the Batmobile or something is like where it's like its audio level is a feature of it that makes sense.
And
so
then
it's
like
kind
strikes
of
fear.
Yeah, exactly. Like so it's like warning people to get off the road because there's a car coming from 6 kilometers away really fast. But there's also like when whoever's being chased by Batman, it's like you're being chased by this like minotaur. Just
I
like
know, right?
chopping you down. I love
it. It's like you might as well be like a Souls villain, like one of the enemies in the Souls games, where you hit it and then the health bar does nothing.
Yeah, like I feel like as like because part of the movie, like because like one of the earliest scene is having this montage of all these kind of criminals being scared by the dark, and I found that scene fantastic.
Yeah,
and the Batmobile is like a really good, like probably one of the best examples of like kind of a feature of the movie demonstrating that theme, like of like Batman being like a symbol of fear.
Yes,
that really like prevents people from doing the bad things they're kind of doing for whatever reason.
Same, and like that's where I think the symbolism is. Like, I know it can be a little bit heavy-handed, but I love that there's actual symbolism there of like Batman literally being the darkness that shrouds those like the gang of youths at the beginning of the movie, and then at the end, like Batman goes from the shadow to literally the beacon of light that leads the group of people through to safety. And like you know, like that symbolism there, and then like and then like, you know, kind of at the end, you know, you see him have that realization that he has a responsibility for the people, and then these people really are worth saving. Like, you know, like I personally saw that transformation in him, and I think maybe it was on purpose that he was so cold at the beginning and throughout the film that at the end, like, if all you saw, like, because he doesn't like explicitly say anything, it's kind of like implied through his nods, through the way he kind of like his body language and the way he approaches the problem. Versus, and so I think that's why if at the beginning of the movie, if throughout the movie you got a very cold Bruce Wayne slash Batman, I think that's why maybe it was done on purpose, because the end is showing his transformation and he's not explicitly saying anything, that you needed to have that clear delineation there. Maybe that's why. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't disagree necessarily. It's like I feel like I could see what it was going for,
but it is jarring.
Like I'm not even sure if it's jarring so much as it's like it doesn't feel like I was like, I don't know, it's kind of a bit flowery, but like it doesn't feel like I was part of his journey as a part of the audience, like as a viewer.
Okay, gotcha.
It felt like that's kind of what I meant by like arm's length. Like it feels like he was kind of so distant from both everyone else and the viewer, to me personally, that I ended up like not really kind of empathizing with his growth or something like that. Like I'm not really experiencing it alongside, like, you know, because that's kind of what the movie's trying to do. He's trying to portray this growth to the viewer in a way that you know, feel it, you know. And I didn't really get that as much as I hoped I would. But yeah, I fully plan on watching it again though, because I kind of want to like kind of see more of it, because it was like a long movie, but
it
ended up taking
3
like
hours.
which and it's like we were talking earlier, it's like it doesn't feel its length because it's like mostly a mystery movie.
Yeah.
So it kind of speeds along pretty quickly.
Yeah, I definitely didn't feel the length at all. I know some people like in my office are talking about like especially the middle. Babyface for me. Oh, Polar Nights, you've got your very specific kinks. No kink shaming, just saying. But thanks for the kudos about the mustache. I appreciate that. John, let's see. Maybe we'll see John's again. I feel like I've seen it, like glimpses of it, and maybe it would make a comeback.
I hate my facial hair. So uncomfortable.
Should be proud of it. I was gonna say, what did you think about, you know, like the Jeffrey Wright character, the depiction of Commissioner Gordon in this? Did you feel like he was memorable at all?
Well, that's kind of who I was pointing to a bit with like chewing the scenery.
Yeah.
He's saying it's like shit, like
God damn it.
Yeah, it's like doing this like very stereotypical cop stuff.
Yeah.
That was kind of like very endearing to me. Like I actually liked that stuff. Like I'm not sure if it was memorable, but I enjoyed his performance. Like he was kind of, you know, like remember, not in that he was much at all, but like the last actor in the Snyder movies who played him, the one who plays J. Jonah Jameson. I forget his actual name.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, like
What?
he looks like such a cartoon.
Oh, was he?
Maybe it was just in Justice League. I don't remember.
Oh, man.
But he was like, he looks like such a cartoon version of a detective.
Yeah.
It's like, not in that this comparison is worth, like, it's not like Gary Oldman is still like better than this version.
Well, I mean,
but
Gary
like
Oldman had a lot more to work with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's like where like this version was just like someone for Batman to bounce off a bit more. Like he had a bit more purpose rather than actually having a role in the story. Like a role, like, you know, in Batman's journey, is a better way to say it. So it's, I don't know. I weirdly enjoyed his role, his performance, even though it wasn't really all that crazy, like incredible or anything. Like he's just about one that made me realize, like, oh yeah, these people are like definitely playing it up a bit in a way I'm enjoying a lot.
And he was like meant to be like the straight man, but like, God damn it. Yeah. And like the twist. Like I love the twist around the family dynamics, like kind of a twist on the formula of like, you know, not everything's like it's like a twist on a twist, like but it's like you know, Thomas Wayne made this thing happen, he's not as good as you think. But then like 5 minutes later, Batman confronts Alfred and then believes everything he says.
Yeah, I was
Then they
thinking.
reconcile.
Like, I didn't have too much problem with that scene, but I did like have a similar thought where it's like,
This is a bit
like
quick.
my first thought. It wasn't just that; it was also like, wait, he's the detective. Shouldn't he have figured like
This out,
like
yeah.
the stories? I still enjoy that part kind of, but yeah, I did think it's like, man, you were believing something else entirely a second ago.
Yeah. Polar Knights is heading off. Thank you so much for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. Feel free to join us in the Discord. The links are below. And yeah, I'll see you same time next week. But yeah, and lastly, did you get that, Paul Dano? Like, I like Paul Dano's character. It is kind of eerie how believable the arming of the alt-right sounds in this. That was kind of scary.
Yeah, it is a little uncomfortable.
Disconcerting.
Premise of it.
Yeah.
I found his performance is like much stronger once he didn't have the mask on. Not in that it was bad before, but I remember thinking it.
Yeah.
Like, I was excited for Dano's part in it, and it was like I was kind of happy with the scenes further in the movie when he's like I could really like stretch a bit.
And then the Joker tease, which I thought was Two-Face at the beginning because of the way you could see the disfiguration, but yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I didn't mind it actually. I think it's because I already I know who that actor is, like Barry Keoghan, I think.
Yeah,
his name
from
is, like he's in Eternals as well, and a few other things.
I was like trying to tell my wife who he was. I was like, he's the Irish guy in Eternals. She's like, which one? It's like, yeah, the one who was like the emo guy in Eternals. She's like, no memory. I think she's just like, she hated Eternals, so I guess she's probably like push that aside in her memory banks.
Yeah, but it's
he's a good actor though.
Yeah.
I can
Well, that's like the reason I'm excited for it. It's like I don't know. I remember seeing people say they didn't really like that scene because it was unnecessary, but I was like, I don't know. For some reason, it kind of worked for me because I looked it up afterwards, and apparently the plan isn't to use Joker anymore. Like, he was meant to be like his role is kind of finished. Like, he was originally meant to have like the Hannibal Lecter role in the movie where he goes and talks to him to see like get insight into the Riddler.
Yeah,
like that was originally how he was in it, and then that didn't. And they cut those scenes.
Yep.
And it's still 3 hours. But it's
and
apparently so there's a good chance he doesn't show up again, even though I would like him to, just because I like that actor a lot. I want to see it.
I think Penguin is kind of the focus of his own series that's been greenlit, so I guess we'll see more of him. I don't know if I need a full series. I think I would.
Yeah, I'll see that as well.
I would love to see a Selena Kyle story of her, like, fully becoming Catwoman. But I'm like, she is Catwoman already, kind of like she's got freaking cat ears, and like, just because it doesn't have leather, like, doesn't mean she's not Catwoman. But I guess she's still technically Selena Kyle, and maybe I'd love to see her transformation into Catwoman. Like, maybe I have a feeling like the next Batman movie, like, she's probably already going to be a Catwoman. But I know that we didn't see like Mr. Freeze. We didn't see like Poison Ivy in the last, like the Christopher Nolan Batmans or in the Justice League movies. Like, I would love to see like those kind of classic Batman villains come back. Okay, probably not the Man Bat. I don't know about that one, but like,
getting Morbius already.
Oh, that's true. That actually that kind of is the Man Bat. I don't know, man. Are you looking forward to that? I don't know if I am.
I was like, I've seen the trailer, because the trailer aired before the movie when we saw Batman earlier.
Yes.
And like, I was kind of like, I'd already seen that trailer like at least a couple of times, I think, for some reason. And like, I was like thinking again, it's like, man, this looks like just like trash. Like, I don't like saying that about creative projects,
it's like an
but it
Eternals thing.
It just looks so like, I don't know. It looks so lazy.
Like, I don't even know who the bad guy in it. Like, as far as I know, Jared Leto's the bad guy, but that's just because it's Jared Leto.
It's like it's such a weird character to try and make this movie out of.
And it's like Doctor Strange in a way. Like, it's like, brilliant doctor goes through trauma, comes back with superpowers. But I think Matt Smith from the Doctor Who, like, I think he is the
the
bad
villain.
guy. I think he's the villain. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's going to be another one of those like forgettable villains. Like, let's be honest. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
we're
It's
not
like,
going to
I
see a
think,
Killmonger here.
I mean, maybe other people feel differently because he keeps getting big roles, but I feel like Jared Leto is like he does not have that much charisma to pull off
Yeah,
whatever you need to
like
have this character
mm,
work.
like he's got like he can act. Like, I'm not saying like I think he can act, but he tends to do well with these like kind of unlikable characters. Like, I feel he does a really like. I know
Yeah.
there's lots of allegations and stuff against him, so I guess that kind of like it is a
Yeah, that doesn't
controversial.
help either because I'm
Yeah,
definitely aware of that, and that definitely affects things. I think a little bit.
like
But
because like I watched the Little Things recently. He plays like a slimy character in that. Like Blade Runner 2049, he plays a slimy character in that. Like,
and House of Gucci, where he played Mario,
I haven't
like
seen
the
that, but
cartoon.
yeah, he
Okay.
seems like that.
I haven't either. I've just seen
Yeah.
clips of him playing like a very broadly drawn Italian person.
Oh yes, okay, okay. You mean like Mario the character, like the game character? Not like,
Yeah.
oh, is there a Mario Gucci? I don't know. I actually don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder. Like, I don't know. I think. Do you think this is like an Eternals thing where it's like don't pay to see it in the movies, just wait till it's on Disney?
Oh, which one? Morbius.
Morbius. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels like one of those movies where it's like you'd kind of feel annoyed that you wasted your time watching it because
Yeah.
at least Venom, the Venom movies are so zany
And
that they feel kind of a
they're
little more
dumb
worthwhile.
fun. Like,
Yeah.
I'd watch Venom 3. Like,
Yeah, like they're kind of like they're really dumb and they're pretty aware of it. Where this one just doesn't feel like that. This feels like, well, let's pump out something that'll make money and nothing else.
you know what we need? I want Venom 3 to have to have Topher Grace back as
Yeah,
like
so
another symbiote host. Like that'd be like full circle, I think.
I'm just laughing again as well. It's like they made a movie out of Morbius.
Yeah, like that's
Why
like
Morbius?
like I didn't even know who he was. Like but
No
like
one does.
because like in the at the end of Eternals there's a tease about the Black Knight. You know, like
Yeah.
the whatever his name was, character's name. I forget what his name was. And then like there was the tease of like Mahershala Ali as Blade. Like kind of you hear his voice. But instead we get freaking Morbius. I don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah, and then there's like the other like Sonyverse one they're building is what's the Hunter?
Yes, this is in the Sonyverse, isn't it? It's in the Venom.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's not in the MCU technically.
yeah. Which you saw No Way Home, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's clear now that they're in the same universe because we saw the teaser at Venom 2 for like, you know, the blip and like the discussion around like, you know, Spider-Man at like and you know Eddie Brock showing up at the end of No Way Home. So technically Morbius is also in the MC. Like if there's an overlap there, then technically Morbius
it's
is
also,
too. And
yeah, but it's also not clear those movies are connected. Like they almost definitely are, but they're not connected in a way that seems to.
What's
like,
the other movie?
Because what's that? It's not crack. For some reason, it's called Kraken in my head, but it's not that.
Krull?
That's not his
No.
name.
Is it no Krull? I'm thinking of the Kree.
Hang on.
Was this no Krull was a guy like a bad guy, wasn't he? But I think
Yeah, it's
he
definitely
was,
not Krull.
No, that was from another like
Craven. That's it.
Craven.
They're making a movie out of Craven, who is like the very like sadistic
Craven the
like
Hunter,
hunter murderer trying to kill Spider-Man, and it's like the guy.
Oh
Who played...
yes, yes we because he's like kind of teased as being in the new Spider-Man game, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
But yes, he's basically like he was like a circus performer, like strongman, greatest fighter on the planet, and like he's like a crazy hunter guy, and he has this immense respect for Spider-Man because he was actually able to defeat him in a fight. But he's very much like if Doctor Strange was like a B level, then this is like a C level villain, right? Like C level character in Marvel.
Well, that's the weird thing is like Morbius is like E. Like he's really far down the list. It's like at least Craven makes a little more sense. It's just that he makes less sense in the sense that he's like not really sympathetic. At least Morbius has like a tragic backstory, I guess. but it's like I don't know. Craven's a weird one to make out of because like I think currently Aaron Taylor Johnson is attached to it, who's from Kick-Ass. He's also
and
a
or
weird pick.
Quicksilver in he was also Quicksilver in Age of Ultron,
Yeah,
and also in the
that's right.
first Godzilla film.
Yeah, it's the character no one wanted
Like,
instead of Bryan Cranston.
yeah. Oh, I was just like when I watched when my wife and I watched that 2014 Godzilla film. If you actually think about it, it is very, very slow. There's so much of this like annoying backstory about this like this soldier guy
Yeah,
whose dad was Bryan Cranston is infinitely more cool, and his mum is also like more like has more like core credentials, and then instead you just get this like dumb pseudo military like movie. We barely got to see any like Godzilla in that.
yeah, it's not. I remember disliking it a fair. Well, not maybe I don't know. I remember it not being particularly
I,
worth
I preferred
memory.
Kong. I think Kong was the better movie.
Yeah, I weirdly like a lot of these kaiju movies more than most people,
Yeah.
especially that one people really don't like the King of the Monsters one,
The
whatever it's called.
the one Godzilla King of the Monsters, the second Godzilla one, but not the third one that was Godzilla vs Kong. Yes.
Yeah. It's a weird mix of things.
Yeah, that one was
Like
pretty forgettable.
whatever reason, like I don't know why I liked it so much. I
I think
really don't get
because
it.
we actually got to see Godzilla do shit.
Maybe I'm not even like I think it's like a lot of it comes down to like mythic imagery. I
Yeah.
really love I really dig that stuff compared to most people apparently.
So then, did you like Kong versus Godzilla, where you got to see like that, that impossible world that lives at the core?
Yeah,
Apparently.
I like that movie a lot as well, but most
Yeah.
people like that one. So I felt like less alone in that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
with King of the Monsters, people felt like I was really shocked at how much people disliked it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, like what did I miss? I loved it for
Yeah,
some reason.
I thought it gave everyone what they were asking for, but I guess maybe the side plot with the like paranoid conspiracy theory guy, and then Millie Bobby Brown as the random podcast fan.
Yeah. Oh no, that was in the Kong one, wasn't it?
No,
That
she was
the deep-
introduced in.
Yeah, I know, but I thought that was like the plot in the Kong
Oh
one.
no, it was the
Then
plot. Oh my god, so
the
she's
first-
introduced in the first. Okay, she's introduced in
the
Godzilla King of the
second.
Monsters.
Yeah,
But then fleshed out in yes, you're right. You're 100%
Yeah.
right. Her and the kid from Deadpool 2.
Yeah. Wait, who? I don't
Yeah.
remember now.
Remember the kid from Deadpool 2 that Cable is hunting down?
Oh,
Like the New Zealand
yeah.
kid, the Kiwi
Yeah,
kid.
right.
Speaking of Kiwi actors, yes. Yeah, but oh man, that movie. Oh, that movie is
We are well off track.
okay. Anyway, I guess we both overall liked the Batman. I super love the Batman. Sounds like you came like
I liked everything except for how I felt Bruce was.
so you
worked in the
probably would
movie.
give it a 4 out of 5, or maybe a 3.
Yeah,
a,
or a
strong,
little
a strong
higher, maybe.
3. Oh, maybe higher. Okay.
I really did
yeah.
like everything. I just didn't have, the idea was
The
I was trying
connection
to
with
focus on
Bruce.
the important points.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's mostly like I keep moving my laptop as a habit. I keep forgetting there's other people watching.
All good.
Yeah, no, it's like I didn't have any problems with like anything else really. I liked it pretty much everything else, either a lot or more, kind of. But it's just basically just what I described earlier. So I'd rank it like similar to you. I just didn't love everything about it.
Yeah.
Quite as much.
I get you. But yes, I guess let's close out the show, man.
Yep.
So, everyone at home, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Doublejump Radio. If you're a fan of our live show and our video show, we'll keep doing it. Always appreciate it when you join us. But once again, you can send in your questions at podcast@doublejump.co, and we'll answer them on air next week. And as always, Doublejump Radio is made possible thanks to the support of our wonderful members. If you too would love to support Doublejump, you can do so today by heading to doublejump.co/memberships and signing up today. And yeah, share us around on social media. Head to doublejump.co to read all of our articles. I think, John, you're also doing another rewind feature, which I think is in the works at the moment. So
Okay.
look forward to that next week. And yeah, it's going to be it's a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. It's great fun doing this with you every week. I really appreciate it, John.
Yeah, it's fun talking about Star Wars, and we got like a lot of Disney properties over and over. A lot, passing a lot of words into it. But yeah,
no, I definitely I definitely am looking forward to, I guess, seeing the reviews of Morbius, because when the time comes, like, it'll let me, because my wife and I was just like, she wants popcorn and I want to watch a movie, so it just kind of works out that watching something like that, it just works out.
I want to eat popcorn for 2 hours.
Yeah, but yeah, that's going to do it for another episode of Doublejump Radio, the official podcast of doublejump.co. So until next time, take care of one another. Peace.
Bye.